Everyone on a Sunday, welcome in. I'm Jack Neary, Fantasy Farm Sports. We've got the old gamer GK with us. What's going on, Greg?
Not too much. A lot went on since we have last seen everybody. We got the the NFL draft that just happened. NBA, crazy games happened. Knicks came back from a huge deficit. Yeah, a lot has happened. A lot to discuss.
It's been a busy week. You know, we kind of, before we left you guys, right, we kind of gave you some of our wild picks and all this other stuff. And then, if you follow us, on Facebook and Twitch and all this other, we basically figured out that Jaden Daniels was going to because the Patriots were taking Drake May. We knew the Patriots loved Jaden Daniels. But if Washington was going to take Daniels, then the Patriots' second pick was May, and they've kind of said it too on their social media. They were like, well, May was really good quarterback, athletic family, blah blah blah. They never said, in all of what they were saying, they never said that he was our guy. I thought that was interesting.
True. I do. We all knew what was going to happen. We all did. We all knew Daniels was the guy for Washington. We all knew May was the guy for the Patriots. It was just a matter of which one was going to go which. It could have very easily flip-flopped, but ultimately, I think it worked out for the best.
I think Daniels was the Patriots guy, though. I really believe that he was their guy, and he got taken.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I think they're very, very happy with Drake May. You very easily could be right. To me, I told you all along since the first day we've been talking, I like Drake May. I thought Drake May is going to be the best quarterback. So to me, besides Caleb Williams, Drake May was the next guy.
The Patriots don't love Drake May as much as the Falcons love Michael Penix.
Don't even.
That is true. Man. That is the Falcons love him.
The greatest meme I seen over this weekend after that happened was the Any Given Sunday meme with Dennis Quaid standing there and Jamie Foxx standing there. Like, that is going to be Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix all year.
Well, Kirk Cousins got too cute. He got Minnesota paid him, right? So left Washington, Minnesota paid him. He should have stayed in Minnesota forever. The coaching staff likes him. They weren't going to offer him.
The city loved him. They absolutely loved him there.
And sometimes you can make too many moves, right? Sometimes you get bored in the position or where you're at in life and you make a move and it just doesn't suit you well. Everybody's had that opportunity that they jumped on and they went, man, I really wish I was back here at my old job or oh God, I really loved my older car more than this. I should have just fixed it. Something. And Kirk Cousins made too many moves. He went to Atlanta. They paid him. They don't love him. And I almost feel like he was the Bill Belichick quarterback. I almost feel like it was supposed to be Cousins and Belichick. At the last minute, they were still going to go with Cousins, signed Morris instead, and go, well, he'll be good with him too. It feels like there's a huge division in Atlanta.
Oh, absolutely. I find it hard to believe Arthur Blank actually signed off on this. If you looked at the war room when this pick happened, it looked like there was division in there. I don't think you're wrong. I think that I think there's a lot of smoke there. I really do. I think that's they tried covering it up a little bit, but ultimately I think Arthur Blank was, well, why the hell did I just sign this check for, what was that, $130 million?
Yep.
I think they really messed up.
Listen, the general manager and him were talking, and I really believe that. Listen, Raheem Morris, this is how he's doing it. Raheem Morris, his last coaching job, everybody ran the show. People don't know this. Everybody ran the show around him. He lost his job. He's going, if I'm going down at this position, I'm not going to sit here and just be passive. I'm not just going to, I'm taking my guys. And if I lose with my guys, I can live with that, because last time I went with everybody else's guys, got fired, and I couldn't live with it.
Okay.
That's what Raheem Morris is saying. That's what that draft pick is saying. That draft pick is going, listen, Kirk Cousins is here, but I'm the guy. Penix is his guy. Like I don't. Everybody's like, well, him and Kurt had a good conversation. Stop that. Stop
But
that.
do you think it's his guy, or do you think the GM just did a power trip right there?
Nope. I think Morris wanted Penix. I don't think it
Because
was.
let's face it, I mean, their pick last year. I mean, even though Robinson was a pretty much can't miss running back, it was
Yeah.
wasn't a position of need for them. Algier had over 1,000 yards rushing that year. You know,
You know,
like they didn't need a running back.
I
They
do think
needed
that.
what did they say? They needed a 3 technique. This is 2 years in a row that they passed up on a 3 technique defensive tackle. 2 years in
Yeah.
a row.
Yeah. And, maybe like Atlanta's just sitting there going, and by the way, they have been doing. We're just taking the best talent in the draft. I actually think, I don't know this to be true, but I'm just going to put this out there. Everybody knows the Raiders wanted Penix.
Oh,
I wonder
absolutely.
if
They were
huh?
drooling for Penix. They were drooling for Penix. That's a Raiders pick right there.
No, it is. But I wonder if Atlanta took him thinking that there was going to be a trade, and then the Raiders just backed away. Because
I want to say that I really want to say that they really wanted to trade out of that, but
and then they went, we're taking Penix.
Mm-hmm.
And the Raiders were like, no, but then the Raiders were like, hey, you know what? We'll find another guy then. We'll deal with it. I don't know exactly how it went down, but I do think it's real. It's the story of the draft.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jaden Daniels to me looks like an NFL starter. Caleb Williams, I also believe that Caleb Williams the Bears got goaded into drafting him. I know he's going to be great, second coming, all this other stuff. If you put those two guys in a room, I'm drafting Jaden Daniels.
What's funny is my girlfriend, I was watching the draft, and my girlfriend, who knows nothing about football, nothing at all. It goes back to what you said, I think, a couple podcasts ago. When Caleb Williams first got it announced and he's there and he puts the hat on, she goes to me, "Is that nail polish he's wearing?" I go to her. My exact words was, "You're lucky it's not pink."
The phone case with the phone was there. I mean, it's a real thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. But if you looked at him and Jaden Daniels, Jaden Daniels in that powder blue suit, his hands are huge. His head's even bigger. And I found out recently that his high school stats, but Jack at only high school, was way better than everybody else's. So every quarterback in the draft played good in high school. I mean, if you're at that talent level, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
But he wrecked those kids.
Yeah.
And I think, look at, he hasn't been perfect at everything. But Magic Johnson has found himself in the right positions and hires the right people, and he's part of that. He's part of that ownership team now in Washington. I think Jaden Daniels is the right answer.
Oh, I think it's a great pick for him. I think Washington had a great draft. A really, really good draft. I think. Let's see here. Some of the picks that they had.
I'm flying blind today. I'm going notes list. That's because I feel like I just want to give my gut reactions to the draft. I liked Daniels. Bill Belichick was interesting. I saw his interview on the Pat McAfee show. And, I'm not trying to highlight other shows, but, that's where it was. And Bill Belichick said, Drake May's a great kid. He comes from a nice family. My only concern is that there are times he leaves the pocket and doesn't need to. So he remakes a pocket that's already fine. And it's due to him not trusting his defensive reads.
And this is Daniels you're talking about?
No, this is Drake May.
Drake May, okay.
Then Pat McAfee, in the same sentence, shifted real quick, and he goes, well, look, he's got the arm, he's got all the tools, but if you don't trust it in the NFL, it's over. He goes, look at this play right here. That's as open as a wide receiver is going to get in the NFL. If you don't throw that, you have to throw that. And then McAfee asked him what he thought about the Vikings and McCarthy, and he went on and on and on forever about how McCarthy read defenses, and I went, "Wow, that's who you would have taken." I
Mhm.
100% he would have taken McCarthy in a blink.
You know how I feel about that. I don't know McCarthy. Even though I liked more, I looked into McCarthy. I liked that he had a what was it, a 72.3 completion percentage in
Yeah,
college last year.
best on third down too.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's incredible. Again, he wasn't asked to throw the ball a lot, but that goes back to me saying that I want a quarterback that plays him in the system. I don't need somebody that's going to go out there, pass the ball 40 times, run around. 70% of the plays that's called, they're unscripted. I want somebody that's going to play in my system. If something breaks down every once in a while, then yeah, you can make plays. So yeah, no, I like that. I like
He's
that.
Brock Purdy-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's taller, probably stronger. You know, he's 6'3". You know, Purdy's a little bit. But I'm saying, like, you know, it was interesting hearing Bill go through the process with McAfee, and I thought it was just he talked a little bit about May's shortcomings and what he was worried about, like he was going to draft them, and then just went on about McCarthy. And McAfee really didn't, you know, he could have cut him loose, but he just kind of let him keep talking. He's like, defensive reads are top skill probably in this draft. He blows me away with his defensive awareness when placing the ball. And I went, that's your guy. That's who you were taking, huh? Like, I just knew it. It just.
Let's see here. Clamps said, especially as a rookie. I'm not sure which quarterback he's talking about. So, if you want to elaborate, you know, we could go in and to your comment a little bit more elaborate.
I like McCarthy going to Minnesota, though. You got to like that because the coach is good there, and he's going to put him in a good position.
Yes, I like what Minnesota did. Love what Minnesota did in their draft. They got him, and they got the guy from Alabama, correct?
Yeah, and
yeah,
it's so funny to me because everybody's like, "Oh well, you know, do you think Justin Jefferson's going to get along with JJ McCarthy, all this other stuff?" And I thought to myself, well, you know, let's look at things this way. The Minnesota Vikings, they look like they have a plan when they're drafting.
Yes, absolutely.
And by the way, McCarthy's not the starter. Sam Darnold's the starter.
Oh yeah,
like
yep.
Sam
McCarthy's
Darnold,
just there for just to learn right now.
Right, and you know, do you think he'll get along with them? Kind of looks like Joe Burrow. I don't, you know, 6'3", kind of looks a little bit like Joe. Justin Jefferson went to school. Maybe they do. Maybe there is something there.
They had a very solid draft. They got JJ with the first pick. They got Dallas Turner with the next pick, which they traded up to grad. Great pick. I've said before that they needed to replace Hunter. They did right there. They got a solid corner in Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon.
Yeah.
In the 4th round. They drafted 2 linemen late in the draft, but you know, you're just looking for camp fillers, and possibly these 2 can go onto the practice squad, do something. One with the 6th, one with the 7th round pick. Drafted a kicker, my boy from Alabama. He had a hell of a leg on him. So no, they had a very, very solid draft. Like you said, they went in with a plan. They trade, every pick was a trade, I believe, except for 1 pick. They've traded up for everybody that they wanted. So they went in with the plan, and they executed.
And it's, you know, I have a friend, a big Minnesota Vikings fan. I won't mention the name, but he's a big Vikings fan. And, you know, he asked me, about, you know, what he thought because Cousins was gone. I go, you know what? I wouldn't worry because the Vikings have a plan. And he was like, well, I hope you're right. And I had a feeling. I'm like, you know, they kind of know what they want to do. And then when McCarthy fell into their lap, they're like, oh, we didn't have to trade anyone? That's great because we'll use picks later on and move. They wanted Dallas Turner.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so they didn't have to do anything to get him really. A little bit.
Let's see. Clamp said running around unscripted plays. Sounds like he's talking about Caleb Williams. Rookies need not to lose games. More important than trying to win. Makes sense. Yes, absolutely. It makes sense. Again, you want somebody that can play in your system. you're the head coach or the offensive coordinator for a reason because your system works. At some point in the NFL, it worked where you got hired of one of the two. So you want to bring a guy that can come in and run it.
But and that's extreme value, right? That's exactly what you want to happen. But I mean, the Bears have been tough to watch for the past couple of years. I
I
mean,
did, but
we need a
they
wow
had a
play.
they had a hell of a draft, I think.
They did,
I mean,
but they need
you
a
you
wow
get
play to get on ESPN.
you get your Caleb Williams, so your quarterbacks, hopefully of the future. No matter what I think of him, I think he's going to be a good quarterback. You get the Washington wide receiver,
Roma Duze.
yeah, unbelievable catch radius. He's big, he's fast, over the shoulder. He can do it all. You come back in the third round, you get yourself a tackle out of Yale. Very smart guy right there. You got a punter. Well, we all care less about that. But then you get an edge, Booker, out of Kansas. So, I mean, they might have not had a lot of picks in the draft, but what they did have, they greatly improved that team.
Yeah, I mean, you want pick execution. So, for instance, all right, let's say you didn't need a quarterback. Greg, you have that you have the draft sheet in front of you?
Yeah, what are you looking?
All right, so let's say I don't know the guy's name, but let's say you don't need a quarterback, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They went out last year and they found themselves a quarterback in Baker Mayfield. Okay, Ryan Jensen retires. We have a need, and they drafted that center from Duke University, who's got a mean streak, just like Ryan Jensen, and he's going to go there and he's going to be the starting center day one. 6'5", I think, a little over 300 pounds, out of Duke.
Let me see if I could find. What was he, a center?
Yeah,
you said
and he's
Graham Barton.
Yeah, and
the only knock on him was that he had short arms. Other than that, he graded out very well.
Well, and he could play, I believe, 3 different spots on the offensive line.
Yeah, you're right. Yes, he can. Actually, he could play every position. He can play tackle, he could play guard, and he could play center.
So, I mean, that's a great. Although it's not sexy, it's not a Caleb Williams or Roma Duze. Tampa Bay executed fantastically, and I think Minnesota, by being able to get Dallas Turner that late, I mean, Vikings fans,
absolutely. I never thought in a million years that he would have dropped to 17.
That was kind of a surprise. Like if we're going to talk about Penix being that high, we should talk about that guy dropping that low, Turner.
Yeah. I mean, I thought maybe the Seahawks would have took him. The Raiders possibly. Even though I like the Raiders pick, I think Brock Bowers at 13 was a steal for them. You know how I feel about him as a tight end. He's best one in a long time to come out.
Yeah, and I wonder if O'Connell's actually good enough. Like I think the Raiders were happy. They wanted Penix. Penix was their guy, but they weren't like, okay, now we're going to take Rattler. We're going to take Spencer Rattler then because he's the best guy left. They went, no, let's then support the guy that we have because O'Connell's pretty good.
Yeah,
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and let's face it, next year's draft is not that great on quarterbacks, they were saying. So if they were going to get one, this year was the year to do it, to trade up, do whatever you have to do to get one of those top 5. I'm not big on Spencer Rattler. Where was he before South Carolina? Where was that?
He was in Oklahoma.
He was supposed to be the guy there. Ends up completion percentage sucks. Throwing interceptions left and right, gets benched. He was a little bit better last year for South Carolina, but again, I'm not sold on him. I never have been. I think he's had every opportunity to do something great, and he hasn't grasped it yet.
He's a fine talent with the maturity level of Johnny Manziel.
All right, perfect.
Because Johnny Manziel was a great talent and could go out there hungover and drop teams. And I just think that Rattler, is a nice talent, but needed to work more and never put it in. I mean, that's but you got to look at things this way. So, well, He's not that good. Well,
Mm-hmm.
one of his receivers was drafted like 32nd in Leggett out of South Carolina. So, to say that, he didn't help a guy get an opportunity in the NFL isn't true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether. Hey, by the way, you know where he went? You know where he got drafted while we're talking about him?
What's that?
He went to New Orleans.
Okay.
And they got a car problem. Actually, it's more like a bicycle. I've never had a car run as bad as Derek, but I mean, what could happen down there is car's a bad game or gets injured, whatever. Rattler comes in, and people are like, they like the freshness of him, and they go, you know what? This kid's all right. Olave
Mm-hmm.
likes him because Olave does not like Carr. I'll tell you that right now. Right? But if Olave likes him and, Kamara and him start getting along, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Stranger things have happened. He has the talent. And if a couple guys around him like him, you never know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No 49ers trades.
No, no. Both. We all knew Debo wasn't going to go anywhere, even though it was reported he was being shopped. Ayuk stayed, which I'm very, very happy with. Actually, the guy we drafted, Pearsall, the wide receiver out of Florida, he was from Arizona State, and he played with Brandon Ayuk his freshman year. So Brandon
Ooh,
Ayuk
that's
was a
interesting.
senior, and Pearsall was a freshman. And Pearsall, I watched a interview with him, and he said he always knew he wanted to be in the NFL, no matter whatever error he was in his career, whether it was Pee Wee, whether it was junior high, high school, first year in college. He goes, as soon as I seen Brandon Ayuk, he was just different than everybody else. The way he practiced, the way he carried himself, his attitude, he was just different. He goes, that right there is going to be an NFL pro.
Do you think the draft of him was to keep Ayuk? Bring in one of his buddies, from college?
Yeah, I mean,
A little bit.
he did right away. As soon as Pearsall was drafted, he texted John Lynch and he said, "Fire pick, way to go." So, I mean, do I think it was a ploy to keep him there? No, I don't. I don't. Money's going to talk ultimately, not us picking a guy that he played with 1 year that he probably totally forgot about. Let's face it.
I mean, money's
You
talking
know what I
very
mean?
loudly
What's
in
that?
the Cousins household right now.
What was that?
Money's talking really loudly in the Cousins household.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, St. Brown just got a huge contract, so it's going to cost a lot to keep him. That's why I was kind of okay if we did trade him away, as long as we got a receiver that was worthy of him being traded away. So no, Brandon Ayuk is going to stay. He's going to get paid now. Percival is going to be our slot wide receiver. I have no idea if anybody watched, and I highly recommend just Google it. Persal's one-handed catch that I forget who it was against. It was a disgusting one-handed catch that he got blasted by two people and still held on to that ball. It was catch of the year last year. As soon as I fell asleep during the draft because I unfortunately have to get up at 4 a.m. now. So I fought my way. I got into like pick 20, dozed off, woke up the next day, hurried up, got on the Niners site, seen who he drafted, and I was like, what the hell? What the hell? As soon as I seen that pick, you know what I equate it to is
What?
you're that kid, Christmas Eve. You think you're gonna get that bike. You've been asking all year for that bike. You wake up Christmas morning, you look under the tree, no damn bike. That's how I felt. Until I watched that one highlight of that catch. As soon as I seen that catch, I was like, oh damn, we got ourselves a player here. We got ourselves a player.
bike.
Yes. He might have been like the 10th ranked wide receiver in most people's draft board. I trust Lynch. I trust Kyle Shanahan, ranking where they think they fall. But this guy here, he's a good athlete. He runs a 4.41 40. He has a 42-inch vertical. Doesn't have the longest arms in the world, biggest catch radius, but he catches everything around him. He gets separation. I guess if there's one knock on him is he struggles against press coverage. Which if you put him in the slot, that's no big deal anyways. They're not pressing the slot. So
Yeah, it's not, but you would like to see him be able to break that.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think he's ever going to truly develop into a number one. But as far as a solid number two, number three for us, I think that's all we're asking him to do.
A lot of times, those Florida wide receivers too, they are great threes.
Yeah, and let's face it, he put up numbers last year with not the greatest accurate quarterback out there. I couldn't even tell you what his name was, but he wasn't that great.
I'll tell you who his name is. His name, I believe it's Graham Mertz.
Okay. Yeah, he was not very accurate, especially.
I'll tell you a little story about Graham Mertz.
All right.
Graham Mertz was the quarterback. Once upon a time, he was the quarterback at Wisconsin. And, I listened to the radio guys, and Graham Mertz has a cannon. He's got this. He's got all the tools. And he does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he can bullet a ball just about as fast as you can think right into the ground. There's no receiver there, but it goes right into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching a lot of Wisconsin football, and I was just like, well, they're playing Iowa. I'll take Wisconsin, in a parlay.
Yeah.
And not only would Wisconsin be in a dogfight with Iowa, but they would lose. All right, well, they're playing Indiana next week. And by the way, Michael Penix was the quarterback in Indiana. But Wisconsin, they're at home, right? They'll come back, and balls are still going into the ground. Fantastic. Lost more money. And I just spent a lot of time hating Mertz because I was just losing money on him every week.
Okay.
I was just, and the value was so good on Wisconsin. I was like, all right, Penn State at home. And, oh, God, I'm going to do it again. Here comes Wisconsin. I mean, it got to the point where my wife was like, are we betting Wisconsin again? Like, it was brutal in my household. And I was like, well, they're due to win. She goes, they've been due to win for 3 weeks. We've got a water bill.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, I won't bet Wisconsin. And that week, he had a good week and won. And then he transferred to Florida so that everyone in the Big Ten would forget that he just throws balls into the ground. So, yeah, terrible quarterback, 100%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're looking for him to hit your barn, that thing will be standing forever on the farm.
Yeah, he's not very accurate. So for him to do what he did in college is pretty good. So I'm all right with it. The green pick, the corner, he's all right. Bit handsy. So not really too thrilled with that. But if he comes in and he can play the nickel role for us, I'm all right with that. Guy I do like that we got is Cowie is his name.
Okay.
Arizona State he's from. Fast. Ran a 4.33 40. Small though, 170 pounds, 5'8", very, very tiny. So durability is definitely an issue, but I mean, guy runs a 4.33 40. Put him in somewhere. See if you can get something out of him.
The one thing that's interesting though is to me is a lot of these track guys, because that's track speed. I mean, that's not.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of the track guys have bad hands.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's true with the fastest man in this draft, Isaiah Worthy. I think he's got good hands and he's really fast. Out of Texas. I don't know. Here's what I know. Buffalo didn't like him.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay because they drafted Keon Coleman out of Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be the Bills guy. And by the way, his tape is stupid. He wins every jump ball you can imagine. He just wins them. Like I don't know if he's got the metrics of every wide receiver that got drafted. The Duzes, the other players. I'm not sure. The Harrison Juniors. I'm not sure. But this guy wins every jump ball. You just loft it up there and not worry about it. I mean, he's going to the NFL to be a little bit different, but he is getting Josh Allen. But to trade with a team that whips your ass every year in the playoffs is like, why would you even do it?
Yeah.
I just wouldn't even pick up the phone. Like, your phone has numbers, your cell phone, right? You're like, I'm not talking to them today. Like, it would say Kansas City Chiefs or Andy Reid or the guy that stuffs hamburgers in his face all the time. Whatever you've got him under.
Mm-hmm.
And it would say on the phone, I go, no, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. But, you make fun of us every year in the playoffs after you beat us. And I'm not taking phone calls. I'd be a child. I just wouldn't accept any phone calls from Andy Reid because they're trying to steal a player on us.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. I would have drafted the guy that they wanted on purpose. Oh, you guys want Worthy? No, we took him. And we're not giving you to him either. How about that? I would. And I would deploy him on every game that we played each other. Like, oh, maybe Worthy's got some plays this week. I don't know. Kansas City really liked him. That's just, I don't know how you do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather you draft your guy, like Michael Penix Jr., than trade with the team that beat your ass in the playoffs every year.
I'm old school with that. I don't like trading inside a division, nothing like that. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I know they didn't like him, and I think he's going to be a bit of a project. But why should we give Andy Reid a project? He likes them.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's give Andy. Hey, I got a great idea. Let's give Andy Reid speed. No, I'm not done yet. He's going to be a great talent out of Texas, little raw, but we don't necessarily need to bring him in yet.
They are going to be. They're going to win the next few Super Bowls. They're going to be disgusting. You add Hollywood Brown. Their only deficiency last year was their wide receivers. They had Rashee Rice and Kelsey. That was it. You had Hollywood Brown in there. And then 4-2-1 40 with Worthy? Are you kidding me?
Actually,
I don't care if Worthy doesn't catch a ball. Just his presence to take the top off the defense alone will help that offense.
Speed has hurt them this offseason, though.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, had Rashee Rice not been speeding, he would be playing football next year.
True. All right, I got what you did there.
So speed is not always good, right? Like the Raiders were like, we've got speed. And then they found out that Ruggs likes to drive fast.
Ooh.
Speed. Listen, it happened. I'm just commenting on what the guy, all he had to do was bring the speed to the field. Liked racing car. This isn't the first racing car story.
I'm a Bama fan, and that hurts.
You know what? But at the end, but it's not an Alabama thing. It's just
no, it's not. But I really did. I liked Ruggs a lot. So
if you ever looked, well, the Ruggs thing is not really what I'm taught. The Rice thing is like, I don't know if you've ever been in Miami at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but if you're racing cars, like, come on, man, that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
The traffic's bad enough the way it is. But I did like, some of those picks. I actually think players went to every situation that they should have.
Okay.
So Caleb Williams, okay, he's going to Chicago. You guys set that up. Jaden Daniels, I do think he's more athletic. I actually think he's better than Caleb Williams, but he's going to have to do a little bit more than Williams will walking into Washington. He's getting Terry McLaurin, sure. He's getting Gibson. He's getting Eckler. Gibson was traded to New England. He's getting Eckler. So he's getting some tools. He's got Dotson, but I think his situation's good. I think Drake May going to New England.
I think Samuel there too.
Yeah, they still have Curtis Samuel. Yeah, right. Okay. So, and if Jaden Daniels, the athlete that I really think he is, I mean, Washington just got one. And, and by the way, this needs to be stated too, because we haven't touched on it yet, but all Kyler Murray did for you fantasy guys is get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
And in case you were wondering, I actually like, I said this last week and I'm going to say it again. I like that Kyler Murray got hurt at the end of the prior season and couldn't play for most of this season. This is why. I don't want him to be injured. I don't want him to be hurt. But sometimes when you're not able to do things, it's something that you truly love. If you're not able to do it for a long time, you forget how much you love it.
Yeah.
And Kyler Murray's always been talked about, oh, he's playing Call of Duty too much, but he loves Call of Duty. But you know what he found out while he was hurt? Is that he loves football. because when he came back last year, you saw it. He really wanted to play. He threw the ball well. He had fun out there. It wasn't, some guys are happy knowing it's a business. He's not. He's a kid playing a game. And for the Kyler Murrays to come back and being away from it, he grew fonder of football. The same thing could happen to the Carson Wentzes. Found out that he didn't love football, loves hunting. Came back, still in the league, kind of, but he doesn't love football. Kyler does. And he got Marvin Harrison Jr. now. And for all you fantasy guys wondering, there will be fireworks.
Oh, absolutely.
Inside your division.
There is usually it's really tough for a rookie to come in and make an impact as a wide receiver. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is a different animal. He's going to come in and as a rookie and make an immediate impact, both during a game and fantasy point wise. He's gonna be a stud.
Now, I do wonder though. This is what I wonder about Marvin Harrison Jr. Like the other wide receivers don't have the last name on their backs. Like I just wonder, as a rookie, there will be cornerbacks out there taking shots at him because of the last name on his back. Oh, you think you're so like he's going to gain the most respect clearly, quickly, and they're gonna push him around a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, attack him.
Well, I don't think they're going to push him around because he physically he is like a third year guy. He in the NFL. His stature, his physical tools are amazing.
Well, they said
I don't think he's going to be pushed around that much. And as far as
cheap
you're
shot?
right. He's going to get the number one corner every single week.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily know. I mean, if you watch a lot of his body of work from the Big Ten, there weren't a lot of number one corners that he was getting because they're just, he was a man in a boys' league. But I think the men are going to line up from him on the field going, Harrison Jr., okay, read about you. Let's see it. And that's going to be a bit of an adjustment.
Yeah. I was goofing around trying to find out how to, one day I will figure out how to get videos up on our podcast because I really wanted everybody to see that Pearsall catch. Real quick, I want to touch real quick on another move that that Washington made is they got a McCaffrey brother, Luke McCaffrey, out of Rice, wide receiver. Guy runs great routes, good hands. He's gonna make Jalen Daniels' job a little bit easier. Also, he's always going to be in that position where he's supposed to be. So, as a young quarterback,
is he a slot guy?
He's a slot guy. Yeah, he's a smaller guy. He's a guy. He's not the fastest in the world, but he runs really good routes and good hands. So
maybe like a Wes Welker.
Yeah. Let me give you
maybe even like special teams for a little bit, right?
He's a little bit bigger. He's 6'2".
Okay.
Ran a 4.46, so he ran a little faster than I thought he did. But he doesn't have the greatest athletic ability. His 20-yard shuttle was only a 4.02, broad jump 10.1, vert 36. Nothing special.
That's my vert.
Just solid. What's that?
I've got 36. I got a 36 vert, so he's like me.
All right. But yeah, 6'2", 198 pounds, 30 and 1/8 arms, hands 9 and 5/8. So I mean, he's a decent prospect. But he's going to be, I think he's going to be a solid number 2 or solid number 3 there at Washington.
Oh yeah, that's what you think?
Yeah,
early.
Yeah.
That early, okay. All right.
Yeah, they don't have much there. They really don't. I mean, they have a couple pieces, but nothing that really stands out there at Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Eckler is their best pass catcher.
Yeah, he probably is. And well, you know what though? I like Dotson. I really do.
He's solid, but I'm not sold on him yet.
The thing with him is, I mean, the quarterback play was a joke last year. But Sam Howell, I know. Listen, if Sam Howell looks and sounds like he's, the dear son of the Howells from Gilligan's Island. He probably
Yeah, like
is.
every time that comes up, that's what I think of.
That's right. He's Mr. and Mrs. Howell's kid. And get him out of here. I mean, everybody talks, but he threw 21 touchdowns. Yeah, that was early. He
Yeah.
also threw 21 interceptions.
Hmm.
I mean, he couldn't figure out coverages and protection for himself.
Hmm.
And, the Dallas game was like just an eye opener. I was like, oh, this guy doesn't know. And once they figured out that he didn't know, they were just pinning their ears back, trying to kill him. So that's why Sam Howell was asked to leave Washington politely. I think his bags were packed for him.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
go ahead.
So Washington's got a huge upgrade. I mean, I'll tell you, I think out of this class, that Jaden Daniels is probably going to have the best career.
I feel different. You know how I feel about May.
No, I know you're a big Drake May guy, and I think Drake May's
Yeah.
fantastic. I think it's going to go Jaden Daniels, and then I can't see McCarthy not having some success.
Hmm.
And after that, I think Caleb Williams is going to be fine. I think he's going to be a good player. But let's see when the chips start falling. Let's see if he really is Patrick Mahomes.
When was the last time somebody was drafted first overall quarterback that has the talent that Caleb Williams has right now at Chicago?
I mean, it's not.
Think about it.
Oh, that they had that talent.
Yeah, they have a lot of talent on that offense right now.
Yeah, it's been a while. It really has. Bryce Young didn't have any talent.
No, Bryce Young had nothing. That offense was depleted when he got there.
No, I know, but my thought on, I don't think Bryce Young is the answer there anyway. I think
need a lot more than a quarterback right now.
They do, but I mean, he's 5'8" and looks 5'8".
You're right. Yeah, he does look 5'8". I'm a big Bryce Young fan. I've liked him. Liked him in college. He did a lot of good things for my Bama. But you're right. He is playing like he's 5'8".
Yeah, but he got hit last year in the preseason, and I went, "Oh my god!" Like it's like any other play you see, right? You're like, wow, that was great, or wow, he got thrown, ragdoll, and I went, "Oh my god!" Because the guy that hit him is probably a UPS driver in 2 weeks. It was the preseason, and he got smoked, and I went, "That's going to be a problem." Like you can be small and put it on. But I just think that I think he's a backup quarterback. And I think Dave Canales is sent there to find out.
Okay.
So it's hey, I revitalized Geno Smith. I gave Baker a real offense for the first time in his career, which is a joke, but it's true. I only say that because Mayfield said in Cleveland that there was no plan after the first two receivers. There was no safety valve. There was no nothing. It was just pray. But yeah, so Canales helped him out, and I think they really brought him in to sit down and go, look, is he the guy, or do we make a big mistake here? That's what I think with Bryce Young. I think he's a great kid. I think he knows a lot about football, but you and I know a lot about football and a lot about film study, and they don't call us every year.
No, you're right.
They don't call us to play. It's really a disgrace on their part because we've seen all their mistakes.
All right, we went through a couple teams already. Let's go through a couple more here. What about the Patriots? We seem to talk a lot. As bad as the Patriots are, we seem to talk a lot about them on our podcast, and neither one of us are fans of them, but we talk about them a lot. So let's talk about them again. Couple of their picks. We all know they drafted Drake May. Polk from Washington, the other wide receiver. Wallace, offensive tackle, Penn State. Robinson, guard from Texas A&M. Another wide receiver, Baker, UCF. Dow, cornerback from South Carolina. Joe Milton III, quarterback from Tennessee. That's interesting right there. And they finish it off with Bell, tight end for Florida State that can't catch a cold.
I actually, he got burned because of how Tennessee runs an offense.
Mhm.
but Joe Milton can really sling a
Oh, I
ball.
know.
Um,
He beat up on Bama. What was that? 2 years ago?
yeah. You wanna know what his pro comp is for me? I think it's Cam Newton. I think he
Really?
can really I
Okay.
think he can really play. I think he
Mhm.
can really play, and, you know, this is gonna be a year where New England's gonna try and find out, and, they don't have a ton of talent,
Mhm.
and I think that May's gonna need some talent,
Mhm.
to get things done there, and I think, he could be a nice quarterback, but I think that, if Joe Milton comes in and he looks good, you're gonna start going, "Ah, he looks a little bit like Cam Newton," and bam,
Mhm.
that's when it's gonna catch on. I think that he could they drafted him because somebody in that room believes he can start.
Yeah. Yeah.
And somebody, I mean, he's got all the if he just had a bigger offense that he ran, I think he would have done much better, but he can hit everything. I mean, he's the most athletic, I think, quarterback in the draft.
It very well could have easily been. Um, yeah, I watched quite a bit of Tennessee games, and he was pretty impressive in most of them. There was a few games he disappeared in. It seemed like the moment was too big for him. But again, it was Tennessee. How much was it him? How much was it the team? I don't know. I know when he had a
Um,
couple first round talent wide receivers, he looked like a first round pick.
I mean, when you got him walking, when he walks in the, I mean, he had that injury, obviously, right?
Hmm.
But I mean, when he walks in the room, you're just like, it's to me, it's him, it's Jaden Daniels. I really like JJ McCarthy because I think he's going to do his best to figure it out or work his tail off to
Do you
figure it
think?
out.
Do you think they improved? Do you think they improved that roster any? I mean, they got a couple wide receivers now. They drafted two linemen. I don't think Wallace will be a tackle. Very well could be a long-term answer at tackle. I think he's going to be kicked into guard. Maybe Robinson kicked into center. It's a possibility.
I need to see something. I need to, I need some camp buzz.
Okay.
That's what I need. I need some
Okay.
camp buzz out of New England like that. Oh, Drake May's really, he won a 7-on-7 today, or
See,
this.
I'm not looking at it like that. I'm not looking at it as a splash. Their roster is so depleted. I'm looking for more stability in other positions than just a quarterback position. They needed wide receivers. I mean, when Kendrick Bourne is your number one, there's something wrong.
Well, I want to see though. I want to see if somebody stands out because right now
Okay.
I've got
Okay.
to me, there's no wow. There's
Hmm.
no. There's none of that. There's no. I'm watching New England Patriots games. Sitting back in my chair, just kind of. Okay, well, how long? How much they're gonna lose by?
Hmm.
I want to see at least somebody stand out on tape because right
Okay.
now, if you're like you're a 49ers fan, right?
Hmm.
What Patriot player do you want on your team?
I mean,
See, it's dead silence
yeah.
because the answer is nobody.
Yeah.
What?
I mean,
Watch
there
this.
might be a defensive player that isn't like racking in my head right now, maybe. But yeah, right offhand, no, there is nobody. You're right.
Watch this. What Bills player do you want on your team?
Oh, I mean, even though we have Purdy, Allen in a second. I mean,
See how
come
quick
on.
that was? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
no?
that's the truth, though. There's nobody on
Yeah.
New England, and that you would go, hey, you know what? I mean, you would sooner take a retired Tom Brady and be like, well, he played for New England than anybody on their roster right now.
Yeah.
That's true.
Speaking of that,
All
uh,
right.
do you think one of the reasons why the Raiders didn't feel like they had to draft a quarterback is because possibly Brady could come in and play for him?
I don't think so. I think he's
There was
too.
rumors that he was talking about coming back.
I know, but I think he's too smart to know how it ends.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And,
It's
and by the way,
a little bit
you know,
different situation with the Raiders than with Tampa. I mean, just look at the roster.
if we're being honest too, like his last year in Tampa, he wasn't good.
No,
I
that defense was top tier.
but he threw, yeah, and he threw, I think it was 100 more passes than any other quarterback, and only finished a top 10 quarterback.
Hmm.
I actually made this wild statement. I don't think it's that wild. I said, do you realize that if Tom Brady came back to the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield was there, Baker would beat him out now. And they went, oh, there's no.
I
I go,
don't
no,
know
no, no.
about
What we're doing is we're remembering New England Tom Brady. We're not remembering the Tom Brady against the Cincinnati Bengals that year, who couldn't get the ball past the 50. And I watched the whole game and I went, man, you don't have it. He's
yeah,
trying
but
to.
he's smart enough to call the plays at the line, to audible the plays at the line that will benefit him the most from that defense. So
But he was
I'll
trying to
take a
scheme
old Tom Brady over who's the Raiders quarterback right now? O'Connell?
Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but he was trying to scheme himself out of his deficiencies instead of scheming against the defense. Like he knew
mhm,
there were throws that he couldn't make. And I was
mhm.
like, oh, that's been open, or oh, they're running cover two. He can't hit that 7 like he wants to. And that to me was the end. That's it.
Okay.
It's like watching Mike Tyson just throw jabs,
Mhm.
knowing he's got no power left.
Yeah.
You're a dead man. You're not tall. You're not quick. And you got no cannons anymore.
Mhm.
Um,
I hope I think he's gonna crush Jake Paul, by the way.
I hope he does. We'll dedicate a whole show to that. That'll
I
be
can't
fun.
wait. Well, yeah, I love Mike Tyson. All right, let's see here. We went through the first three. We talked a little bit about the Cardinals. Their first pick was Marvin Harrison Jr. We talked a little bit about him. The rest of their draft was let me bring it up here. Sorry.
No, you're
Had
good.
this set up already. For some reason I'm not able to do that now.
No, the Cardinals whole lot. Isn't that how convenient Cardinals fans that a 49er fan would lose your whole draft?
Well, it's the Cardinals. We
I
don't
know.
really think
It's
too
very
much of.
convenient. I got a bunch of Cardinals fans chirping here, and we just don't have any
Let's see
draft
here.
information.
We got it coming up now. I was just
You
on the
took
wrong
a
page.
receiver. That's
All
it.
right. Marvin Harrison Jr. They another pick. They traded up in the first round, I believe. Yeah, from Houston. Darius Robinson, defensive end from Missouri, very solid player. There was rumors that the Niners were going to take him at 31. Melton, cornerback from Rutgers, second round. Third round pick, Trey Benson from Florida State. Really like that pick.
Yeah, that was a good pick.
Then they follow up another third round pick, guard from Illinois. Ryman, tight end out of Illinois. Don't know anything about him. Elijah Jones, Boston College corner. Thomas, edge rusher from Clemson. Funny fact about him, Xavier Thomas. This is a guy that ended up getting COVID, losing 40 pounds.
Wow.
Back when, who was it that played for him? Clemson. Farrell and who was their defensive tackle? Christian Wilkins?
I know Farrell.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know Farrell.
Okay. When those two were on there, a reporter asked the defensive line coach, who is the best player on their defense? Now, you had 2 first-round picks on that defense, 1 All-Pro on that defense. He said, watch out for number 3. Didn't say anything about Christian and didn't say anything about Farrell. Said, watch out for number 3, and that was Thomas. Unfortunately, he got COVID, lost 40 pounds. This year just started showing flashes of his athleticism again. So watch out for him. Watch out in the next couple years for him.
All right, we'll make a note of it for sure.
And then they had Christian Jones, offensive tackle from Texas. Palmer, wide receiver from UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham. And finish it off with Davis, defensive back from Miami. So it looked like they had a pretty solid draft. A lot of picks in there to replenish that roster.
Yeah. And that's what, Arizona, right?
Yeah, Arizona, correct. Yes.
Okay.
We're going down the draft board order now. So far out of everybody we talked about, I like them. They had a great draft.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Arizona, they're quieter because it's the desert.
Yes, there's nothing splashy about them.
but I think they put a good product out there.
Yeah, they drafted solid. For a organization that seems like in the last 3-4 years, you can even go back 5 years, they're in shambles. Quarterback playing too much Call of Duty. You trade away a former first round pick.
To
It
be
didn't
fair,
seem
but
like
you can
they
never
were in
play
the.
enough Call of Duty.
What's that?
To be fair, you can never play enough Call of Duty.
Listen, I stream Call of Duty and I suck at it, but I love it, and I totally agree. You can never play too much.
Hey, listen, if you're looking to
Speaking
play
of
that
that,
game for a
anybody that
couple,
wants to see me play Call of Duty and how bad I suck, check me out on Twitch, YouTube, Kick, under OldGamerGK.
and just run around and get shot. That's what I do.
Yeah, All right,
And
so we
people,
talked about Arizona.
yeah,
Now let's go to our favorite new coach in the NFL, Jim Harbaugh. Jim Crazy Harbaugh.
I'm gonna get you a Chargers hat.
I love Harbaugh. I can't help it. I was so upset when he left us, or when we
San Francisco
actually
departure.
fired him. Yeah. All right. A few picks from their draft. Joe Alt. We all know how much we liked him. If anybody's seen our draft preview, both of us thought Joe Alt from Notre Dame is going to be a stud in the NFL. They got McConkey, wide receiver from Georgia. Guy is a yak machine. Colson from Michigan. You got a Michigan guy, linebacker. Ibove from defensive tackle from Alabama. Probably butchered his name, but again, that's another name of mine. It's Greg Krautzer, OldGamerGK, and Butcher of Names. We got Still cornerback from Maryland. Cam Hart, cornerback from Notre Dame, and we all know how Jack loves his Notre Dame. So Chargers actually might end up being his favorite team. And they finished it off with a wide receiver from Michigan, Cornelius Johnson.
You know what I think is funny? Is that you go to college for 4 years, right? And you're like, all right, finally I'm going to get away from this coach.
Yeah.
And
especially a coach like Harbaugh.
Yeah, and then he drafts you, and you're like, I got to spend.
He likes competition. He likes people being at each other's throats. So.
Yeah, and then you got to sit there and you got to go, oh my God, I got to deal with this. I actually have to deal with this guy my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Not just at college. I'm just not going to graduate from him. I'm going to show up day one, and I'm going to go, oh, hi, coach. Oh, yeah, fantastic. Especially somebody that's difficult like Jim. I mean, he was successful in San Francisco, and they went, it's time to go.
Yeah, he wears on a team fast.
Yeah, and it's going to happen in LA too, I believe.
Yeah, I think 4 years after 3 of those years, you're going to start hearing some mumblings. That's just the way Jim Harbaugh is. He likes that uneasiness in a team.
He's a sick man.
He likes people looking over their shoulder. That's what he likes. He thinks that breeds the most competition out of somebody.
Yeah, maybe it does, but you just cool off a little bit, Jim. Relax. The brothers relax, and Baltimore wins all the time.
All right, so we talked a little bit about the Chargers, the Giants. They started off with the Neighbors, huh? What do you think about that? Won't you be
my neighbors is my fantasy football team name next year if I draft him.
Okay, well, I mean, they passed. Well,
that's a great team name, isn't it?
It really is a good team name. Jack is known for his fantasy football team name, so. Neighbors. What do you think about their picks? Neighbors. They got another guy, Newbin from Minnesota. Who's just he doesn't really have a position. There's no position on here for him. He's just an athlete. Phillips, corner from Kentucky. Johnson, tight end from Penn State. Tracy Jr., the running back for Purdue, not a bad pick in the 5th round. And Masanu from linebacker from UCLA. Not really big on their draft. I mean, besides Neighbors, I mean, do you like them taking Neighbors over a quarterback?
I think they went with the best available.
Okay.
They went with the best athlete available. I think that if they didn't believe that any quarterbacks were better than Daniel Jones that were available, then they weren't going to take them. I
Yeah, I
think
mean, we all know Jones is definitely more athletic than McCarthy,
I
but
think it was.
McCarthy is just he is a completion percentage machine, as we talked about earlier.
I just think Neighbors was too good to pass up. Like if Neighbors went higher,
yeah.
If Neighbors went higher, like let's say the Chargers took Neighbors, they might have taken McCarthy.
Listen, there's some GMs out there that I told you in a comment that post that you made on Facebook. There's some GMs out there that think Neighbors is going to end up being the best wide receiver in the league in this draft.
He might.
You
He's a
know,
monster.
I don't believe it personally. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is just going to be we just put a gold jacket on him now. But yeah, there's some GMs out there that think Neighbors is could actually be the best wide receiver in this year's draft.
No, they got to play the games before they get the gold jackets.
Listen, I mean, from what I seen of him, I mean, I have.
You're seeing a lot of them.
The last time I seen a wide receiver that I was this ecstatic about was Calvin Johnson, and that was just because of his size and speed, and like he jumped off the screen. Marvin Harrison Jr. jumps off the screen though.
But now you get to curse at him twice a year because he's in your division.
Well, you know.
Are you going to cheer for him? Are you going to draft him in fantasy?
No,
that'll be
no. Actually, fantasy-wise, yeah, I might draft him, depending on what round.
I can't wait for you to draft him and cheer and curse at him. It'll look like you're just sneezing, turning into different personalities while you're watching the game. Tackle him! Touchdown! Yes! That's a fantasy does. It provides us.
The way my schedule has freed up for the weekends and stuff, this year I plan on doing some videos during the games, so you all get to see how pissed off I can get.
Oh my god! Stay tuned. It's gonna be
all right. Jekyll. So we talked a little about.
Yeah, we'll call it Jekyll and Hyde. Greg,
true. Yes. Talk about where they call that where you have two different not split personality, but where you have such high and low. What is that?
I don't know. They just used to call it crazy, by the way.
Something personality. What do they call that? Something personality. It starts with a P.
I don't know.
I can't remember. It will come to me at some point when it doesn't really matter anymore. All right. Lackluster draft by the New York Giants. We like really one pick there. Neighbors. We both like the pick. We both like Neighbors.
Yeah.
Next is the Titans, Tennessee Titans. They started out with J.C. Latham, the guy that almost crippled Goodell when he picked him up. Yeah, he picked him up. Thought he was going to need back surgery after that. Yeah, love the pick with Latham from Alabama. They need somebody to protect Willis. Let's see. They got Sweat, defensive tackle from Texas. Cedric Gray. Love this pick. Cedric Gray from North Carolina. This guy is a tackling machine. Let me bring up. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he was very, very good for North Carolina. I just want to bring up 4.6, 4.40. He definitely plays faster than that. 17 on the bench press for the reps. That's about right. But yeah, the guy is a sideline to sideline tackler. Guy is going to end up. He's their linebacker for the next 10 years easily.
Okay.
Let's see some of their other picks. Let me just wait for it to. Here we go. Brownie Jr., Louisville, cornerback. Jaquan Jackson, wide receiver, Tulane. Not a bad pick. James Williams, another just athlete they have listed from Miami. And finished it off with Jalen Harrell, edge out of Michigan. So their first 3-4 picks, I like. They're solid picks.
Yeah.
Solid picks. Nothing splashy. But every one of them, I think, could help them this year. Their first three picks.
I think Will Levis is really going to make. Will Levis is really going to make. I think Will Levis is really going to make a leap.
I agree. The guy had flashes last year of what he can do.
Yeah, and there was a lot of mustard on that ball.
Oh, absolutely. The coming out of
mean,
college was his athleticism and his arm. So
Penn State to Kentucky, baby.
yeah, All
Penn
right,
State.
here is a team that we both are scratching our heads over on how they drafted and why. The Atlanta Falcons. Let's see. They drafted Felix Jr., quarterback out of Washington. Ruke. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name,
Come
but
on,
defensive
butcher it.
tackle from Clemson. Orua Rowe. That's all I got.
That's all.
Brandon Trice, offensive linebacker. Outside linebacker, Washington. Another defensive tackle, Doris out of Michigan or Oregon. Burr, what's his name?
They did a lot of
linebacker out of Notre Dame.
did a lot of Midwest scouting, I could see.
McSeelan, running back out of Alabama. Casey Washington, wide receiver out of Illinois. Illinois couldn't even get a first down. So anybody that even is drafted out of there, I really don't hold too much stock. And then finish it off, 6th-round pick, Lounge, defensive tackle out of Georgia.
So you hate
So
Illinois.
yeah, don't hate them. They just weren't very good this year.
I don't hold any stock in them.
Yeah, I really don't. That's like any offensive player drafted out of Iowa. I'm closing my eyes because it doesn't
What
matter.
is an Illini, by the way? We know that they're fighting, but what are they?
Yeah, what
is
they?
a fighting?
We don't know.
No, I would like some messages. I would like some engagement here. What is, if anybody's watching, what is a fighting Illini? If you could explain it, I almost want to send you money. I'm not.
Yeah, I
going
don't know.
to,
I don't know
but
what
I
that
know
is. What it is. No idea. But
With
very,
Notre Dame
very
fighting Irish.
lackluster draft by the Atlanta Falcons. Not sold on anybody that they drafted. Even if Felix ends up being a great quarterback, you just signed Kirk Cousins, $130 million contract. Why are you drafting with the 8th pick in the draft quarterback?
I think Cousins is gone soon.
But isn't he guaranteed like $80 million?
No, so
you know,
he's guaranteed $90 million.
Okay.
So let's just have the discussion here. They're going to pay him 30 this year, and they're going to pay him 30 next year. That's the contract. And I don't think they're paying him next year. I think they're going to trade Kirk Cousins. And
he has a no-trade clause in his contract, by the way.
Does he really?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, but
that's
what if
why he's sitting there scratching his head.
What if he
now
wants
he
out?
can waive that?
Yeah, because here's what's going to happen. They're gonna sit down in a room, and he's gonna go, get me out, and he can waive that for the right team, and that's what he's going to do. I don't know where he's gonna go. I mean, it gets a lot clearer, obviously, as the year goes on. Certain teams have certain needs. Maybe he'd go to San Francisco.
Yeah, I think Brock Purdy's going to get paid after this year, so we're not going to be looking at quarterbacks anymore. If there was a time we were going to get him, it would have been this year.
I know.
But I think Kyle's perfectly happy. I don't know. There's definitely going to be some quarterback needy teams out there. Denver, maybe. They kind of botched their draft too, but we'll get to them in a little bit.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm not. I wasn't big on their draft. All right,
let's see. They got Zach Wilson for nothing.
What was that?
I loved that they got Zach Wilson for nothing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking draft wise.
Bo Nix.
Okay, yeah. All right, we already talked about the Bears, so we won't hit them again. We talked about the Vikings earlier in the draft. We both liked JJ being there at the Vikings. The Jets. The Jets is the next team. Let's see here. Their 1st-round pick was the tackle from Penn State, Fashanu. Corley, wide receiver out of Western Kentucky. Braylon Allen, running back out of Wisconsin. Jordan Travis, quarterback out of Florida State. I like that pick. Another running back, Isaiah Davis, running back out of South Dakota State, the Division II school. Then they have Stingers, cornerback. He actually played in the Canadian League, Stingers did. And Braylon Key, an athlete from Alabama. So not a bad draft. At that pick, I thought they would be tempted to grab Bowers for Rodgers to throw to, or another wide receiver. But I like that they were smart and they want somebody to protect Rodgers.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Bowers too, but I mean, Bowers kept falling.
Yeah, he did. But again, I don't hate the pick. I think that's a solid draft for them. You already have, who is that? Wilson? There? The wide receiver. I forget who else they have, but they have
they've got Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. They have a solid team. So I really, if they would have drafted a wide receiver, it would have been a luxury pick for them. I think going offensive tackle was a smart move for them.
Yeah.
Next, Denver Broncos. The Broncos. We got Bo Nix. That is a reach.
You don't like
in
him?
my eyes.
Yeah.
Reach in my eyes. We got Elias, the edge rusher from Utah. We got Franklin, wide receiver, Oregon. We got Drain, quarterback, Missouri. Estamine, am I pronouncing that right? The running back from Notre Dame?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he's solid back. Not flashy, not a flashy athlete, but if you watched any of the Notre Dame games, he was a good running back for them. Valley, wide receiver from Utah, and a center from South Carolina, Gargulio. I think I did pretty good with that name.
That was fantastic. You didn't butcher anything there. Nope.
That was pretty good. So what do you think about Denver's draft?
I like Bo Nix. I don't love him everywhere.
Okay.
You know, I think that him and Sean Payton must have got along. I don't know how. I wouldn't get along with Sean Payton, but I think they get along. And to me, I think Nix does all the things that Wilson's going to have to do to keep that job. I actually think Zach Wilson's a really good quarterback.
I think he can be a good quarterback. He just needs to get his head straight. Whatever was going on in New York, to where he wasn't able to mentally get the job done, because we all know he has the physical tools to do it. We've seen it. But mentally, he just wasn't there.
Well, I mean, as offensive coordinator.
After Sean Payton butchered Russell Wilson, will he do the same thing to Wilson?
Well, this is another shot at Nathaniel Hackett, too, remember?
Okay.
Right? Sean Payton goes, oh, yeah, God, Zach Wilson would be good if he had an offensive coordinator. I'm an offensive coordinator. I didn't think Hackett did a good job here.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Didn't do a good job here. Ruined the kid in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a 6th round pick or 7th round pick for him. And they went, yeah, he's not good. And he's like, yeah, I see what you think not good is. He could come over here and become a good quarterback. Okay. I think that his talent every day of the week will beat out Bo Nix.
Okay.
But I think that Sean Payton's going to end up really liking Bo Nix. That's the thing. I don't think there's anything special. There's nothing special about Bo Nix. I mean, that's not true. He's
a good athlete. He's a good athlete he really is. He's anybody that knows anything about Oregon, you can't play in that offense unless you are an athlete.
Or Auburn, because he's played 10 years in college football.
Yeah, but Auburn, he was kind of a bust at Auburn. See, Auburn, I didn't see the athleticism at Auburn, but I seen the arm at Auburn. At Oregon, I seen the athleticism, but I didn't see the arm.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't love Bo Nix, but I think that, and by the way, Denver doesn't have a ton of talent there.
No, they have Sutton there. They traded away, right? They traded Judy away, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Where did he go? I forget.
I forget where Jerry Judy went. I really did. Uh,
It'll be Judge Judy soon because he ain't going to be in the NFL for much longer. No, but I love Bo Nix? No, I don't think
mhm.
there's
He went to the Browns, by
anything.
the way,
Huh?
which I went to the Browns, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, I do too, but they don't have a quarterback either.
Well, I mean, I still think Watson will end up being a good quarterback. I don't want to give him an excuse that he was out of football too long because last year he should have been a lot better than what he was. But with that shoulder injury that he had and he checked out, I'm all right with. Uh, I still go back to. I mean, I've seen him have battles with Alabama back in the day, with Clemson, and the quote I go back to every time somebody says about Deshaun Watson was what Dabo Sweeney said. He said he is going to be the Michael Jordan of the NFL.
And my whole thing with Deshaun Watson, I tell you what, this is the way I would run my franchise. If Bill Belichick's defense shuts you down, I can't pay you. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
paying you. Right? And that's the thing with Deshaun Watson. Like, it was, well, he did pretty good in Houston, got to the playoffs, and couldn't move the ball against New England. This wasn't Mike Vrabel. This wasn't all these guys over the years. This was just Bill Belichick scheming against him,
Yeah, but
knowing what he wants.
he was scheming against Bill O'Brien, who wasn't good.
But you're the athlete. You got to move the ball. They didn't move the ball.
I get that. I get that.
I mean,
but
the Patriots covered a 16.5-point line.
Mm-hmm.
I can't pay you. I'm very sorry, but I can't
Mm-hmm.
pay you. I can't pay you guaranteed money. A scandal happens, and all this other stuff that happens to you as well. By the way, get rid of all that stuff. You can't cover a 16.5-point line against the Patriots.
I chalk it up as you had Bill O'Brien. You had an offense that was depleted of talent because he got rid of everybody except for Brandon Cooks. You brought in, what was his name? David. He was a running back from Arizona who had like 2 really good fantasy years. As soon as he went to the Texans, he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I look at it as that he didn't have the talent around him anymore either. But during the regular season, what he did have, he still put up really good numbers.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe he returns to that, but I watched him shrink against Pittsburgh last year. It was Monday night. It was Nick Chubb got injured, and I mean, the Steelers were flying around.
Mm-hmm.
And his eyes were getting so big, like he just couldn't. I mean, they were coming for him, and nothing he could do scared them. Nothing he could do could stop them. And he almost looked like a fighter that would have thrown in the towel. Like he was like done.
Okay.
And there were a lot of times in that game where a defensive player would push him, and he'd just go out of bounds a little bit, and he would push them back. But like you could see it, and that's his problem. He wasn't able to rise to any occasion. I mean, he was lacking what made him special.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're right. And I totally agree with you. That's what I seen last year also. I really did.
Over.
Yeah, but what's that?
I think it's over.
You see, I'm still holding out hope that not hope. I'm still holding out on those words I heard. He's not an old quarterback.
Here's what he is. He's Michael Vick as an Eagle.
Okay.
Falcons Michael Vick, forget it. If he had any discipline, he would have wrecked the league. And I mean, he was a video game. But Eagles Michael Vick, it was somebody tackled him in the open field. What? How did that happen? I can't believe somebody caught up to him. And he, that's what this Deshaun Watson is. Your second act, you get caught. And that's what I think it is.
Okay. All right. Next, we got the Raiders. Raiders actually had a really nice draft.
The renegade mentality.
Yeah. Their first pick, Brock Bowers, great tight end coming out of Georgia. We all know how I feel about him. Jackson Powers Johnson, the guard/center out of Oregon. Some say he's the best center that came out in this year's draft. It was a tie between him and the guy from I think his name is Flack out of West Virginia. But Jackson Powers, he could play either guard or center, and is going to be a perennial starter at both his first year. DJ Glaze, offensive tackle out of Maryland. I'm pretty sure he's another one of those tackles that's short-armed that they're going to bounce to the inside. They have Richardson, cornerback out of Mississippi State. Alex Berg, linebacker, Ohio State. Luby, a running back out of New Hampshire. Wow. New Hampshire.
They're one athlete that comes out of New Hampshire.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Like I said, their first couple picks I absolutely love. So.
All right. I like Bowers.
I love Bowers. Bowers is a sexy pick.
Ooh, we love our sexy picks.
I know you love your sexy picks.
Oh my God. Sexy Bowers.
All right, let's see here. So that was that. We all talked Atlanta. Let's see, Bears, Vikings, Jets. Where are we at here? Next is the Saints. Some say actually they grabbed the best offensive tackle in Fuega, the offensive tackle from Oregon State. Some say that he was the best offensive tackle. What's that?
There's nobody to protect.
I get that. They turned around, got Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama. Loved the pick.
You know who's the best protection for Derek Carr?
What they should have did
Carr. David Carr.
What was that?
Because David Carr is the best protection for Derek Carr. Because he's on the NFL Network talking about how great he is all the time. And he's not.
Yeah. No.
His brother is his finest mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a good quarterback.
No. Well, in that same breath, they did draft Spencer Rattler, the fifth round.
Okay.
Bub, I love this first name. Bub Means. Love that name. Bub Means. Wide receiver out of Pittsburgh. Bub means what?
I don't know.
Then they turn around, get Jalen Ford, linebacker, Texas. Christian Boyd, defensive tackle, Northern Iowa. So not a bad draft. Not sexy at all, but not bad.
Not sexy.
No, I don't see anything sexy about any of these picks.
No, they're the Aints again.
Yeah, I mean, you got somebody to protect the quarterback. You got a solid corner there to go with Lattimore.
It's tough though, because protection wasn't the issue in New Orleans last year. For all you Saints fans, his receivers stopped running routes because he was missing them, and then he was complaining when he throw the ball 4 yards over their head. I mean, they wanted to take off uniforms, Saints players, and put on Bucs uniforms when they saw what Baker Mayfield was doing. It was hilarious.
Jack, I am going to give you the whole screen. You talk on this for a moment. All right. Can I do that? Give you the whole screen? There we go.
Oh, there I am. Yeah. So I'm down here in Florida. I watch a lot of Bucs football. I'm a Baker Mayfield guy, if you guys are wondering. And, watching Chris Olave stop running routes because Derek Carr was yelling at him after he threw a ball 4 yards over his head was hard to watch. The kid wanted to just quit. And we know Chris Olave is a great receiver, awesome in fantasy, but he's a possession guy. And Derek just he started yelling at him in front of the whole team, and he demoralized him. He didn't want to do the work anymore. And I just think that New Orleans has to get a real signal caller, because if not, you're going to be stuck with Derek Mediocre Carr, who throws a lot of numbers, right? He's got great numbers, but the numbers come after they're losing. as a quarterback, you want to have great numbers. But if you're a quarterback that doesn't have great numbers, then it shows that you didn't need to do all of that. You got 3 touchdowns and 240 yards. You didn't need all the yards because you took advantage of your opportunities fully, which is a little interesting, right? Because your best fantasy quarterbacks tend to be playing from behind and have bad defenses. Derek Carr, to me, I'm not a fan. I think that he did some nice things in Las Vegas. But as far as paying him guaranteed money for his brother's rants on the NFL Network, to me is crazy. I wouldn't have paid for it. He's the 3rd best quarterback in that division. And that's only because Bryce Young's there, and I don't think he's a starter. And that's not a knock on Bryce. But Kirk Cousins was leading the league in everything before he got injured last year. I'm a Mayfield guy, but the fact of the matter is that if Mayfield didn't beat Cousins in game 1 last year, he did. But if he didn't, you got to sit there and go, well, all right, I'll name the best quarterbacks in the division. It starts with Cousins. Then it's Mayfield. Then it's Carr. Then it's Young. I mean, you can interchange Mayfield and Cousins. I think Cousins he's a little bit better. But as far as winning goes, it hasn't happened for him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not Derek Carr.
It's definitely not Derek Carr.
It's
definitely not Derek Carr.
I'll bang the drum for guys that I see talent, right? I've never really. Derek Carr was a 3rd-round draft pick because he's 3rd-round talent. And to this day, I still believe that he's gotten his opportunities because his brother works for the NFL Network. And
I think he gets his opportunities because he does have a live arm. But a live arm doesn't mean that you're good.
I mean, he's got a live arm, but I don't want him over Dak Prescott.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree with that. And I'm not a big Dak fan. But no, I'll definitely I'll agree with that take.
So I was writing numbers down yesterday because, I'm getting ready for fantasy football season. I know it's so long, but I have to start preparing now. That's what my network does, Fantasy Farm Sports. We get you guys ready early, okay? And in writing these numbers down, it kind of blew me away. I looked at everybody's, this and that, and some statistics that pop out. Dak Prescott threw the most touchdowns last year. 36 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I think that's the number. And everybody's like, well, but he's not that good. Well, he's something. He's not that good, but he's something. His arm doesn't, and his balls don't, light up the field. Right? He doesn't wow you. But you can't say that you wouldn't pay 36 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. There's this toggle back and forth whether people like him or the Dallas Cowboys should pay for him and all this other stuff. And at the end of the day, I'm just like, well, let some other team have 36 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. I mean, the numbers aren't bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Josh Allen looks better on TV.
Last year, he had a completion percentage of 69.5%. Not bad. Threw for 4,516 yards. Not bad.
Way more than you think.
Touchdowns. Yeah. 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. His long was 92 yards. He was sacked 39 times. Quarterback rating 72.7.
I just don't know what people want in a quarterback, I guess.
No, it just seems to me that for Dak Prescott anyways, that he folds on the big games, the big moments. But again, that's more than what Derek Carr gives you.
That's what I'm saying. He's a bicycle, man.
Yeah. Don't get Derek Carr is a mid to lower tier quarterback, and Dak Prescott is a mid to upper tier quarterback. So two different projections on those.
I mean, the number's upper tier, but the arm talent's probably mid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's just nobody likes to hear it. Oh well, I don't think. Well, you might not think he's that good, but if you hit the most home runs in the league, you're the home run leader.
Hmm.
I don't know how else to change it, right? I sit there and I go,
Yeah.
wow, that guy's got a really live bat. And people go, well, but I go, but he led the league in home runs.
Hmm.
What do you want us to do here? I'll take a
Yeah.
few away. I don't know for your argument. You know, it was like for years, people were like, oh, you know, how good of a home run hitter. And I know he was on juice or whatever, but Jose Canseco was.
Hmm.
And it's like, yeah, he's a really good home run hitter, but they thought that he was just this awesome guy he had like 2 good years.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really it.
You know,
He was
perception.
he was more famous for being or for dating Madonna than playing baseball. So
Yeah. And, you know, so when you get writing these stats down, you find out things that you thought were true and things that are not true.
yeah, 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 yeah. A lot of times it's just it's the wrong perception you have of somebody. And
We
you
could
write down the
revisit all these.
numbers and you're like, oh, wait a minute, why did I think this way?
Kirk Cousins doesn't play well. Michael Penix comes in, uses all of the talent that Atlanta has, and all of a sudden, uh-oh, he's the best quarterback in this draft. And we're sitting there going, boy, I'll tell you what, those Falcons, huh? Because that could be the truth.
Yeah, yeah, it could be.
We
Okay,
got NBA on tonight, huh?
what's that?
We got NBA. Do you want to finish all these other
Yeah,
picks? Or do you want
yeah. Let's finish. Let's finish up because you know, I don't want to skip anybody's team. You know,
Oh,
on
that's
this. Let's see. We got the Colts, so we'll try to get through this a little bit quicker so we can get to Fantasy Farms, Jack Neary's Bet Your House picks.
It's a good pick today, too.
Yeah. All right. I'm
money.
anxious to hear it. I really am. The last one was the 76ers, so I won some money on that. And then you had somebody in your chat.
Did you?
Yeah, in your comments, and I don't know who it was. And they're like, oh, the Suns, the next game, the Suns. So the money I made off the 76ers, I wrote over the Suns, and I lost it all. So whoever made that comment, don't comment on it anymore.
No more comments. We please refrain from commenting on our Bet Your House picks. They're not. It's not your house.
The Jack picks.
Yeah.
All right. Next is the Colts. Colts on the board. They drafted. Some say the best defensive player, Latu, the edge from UCLA.
Yeah,
They
was
got
going a couple
Mitchell.
picks later.
Yeah, they got Mitchell, wide receiver from Texas. Very good pick. Offensive tackle, Gone Caves. Offensive tackle, Pittsburgh, comes back with the center from Wisconsin, Bortolini. Anthony Gold, wide receiver from Oregon State. A athlete from Missouri, Carlos.
Somebody call a butcher.
Yeah. Sometimes my tongue gets twisted up. So another athlete, Simpson, Abraham, cornerback out of Marshall, and then what is that? Leilu, defensive tackle out of Oklahoma. So they made some solid moves. I like their first 2 picks. Latu, the edge out of UCLA, definitely going to help that defense. And they grabbed Mitchell, who is a 6'2", very fast wide receiver out of Texas, to pair up with Pittman and their young Anthony Richardson, their young quarterback.
Yeah, he's going to be awesome, too.
Yeah.
I think Richardson's really, I mean, don't get injured. Stop getting injured.
That's the knock on him, is injury. So, yeah, very, very solid draft by the Colts. Now for my most hated team, which we should just skip over. But for you Seattle fans, I guess we'll have to say something. Byron Murphy, their first pick.
There's no way you don't like Pete Carroll.
You know, Pete Carroll's no longer there, so it's not
He's
a Pete
upstairs.
Carroll thing. It's a Seahawk thing.
He's upstairs.
You know, I equate them to the Cowboys fans. They're just so damn annoying. Sorry. I tell it how it is.
You don't sound sorry. That's the thing.
I'm saying sorry because I'm supposed to say I'm sorry. I really don't mean it.
Wow,
I listen. That's 2 things about me: is I'm honest, and I'm very blunt about things.
And he hates Seattle.
And I hate Seattle. I love the city, Seattle. I mean, that's where Pearl Jam's from. Their
He
birth
hates
of
Seattle
ground.
so much he won't even watch Frasier.
That's
He hates
true.
Seattle.
That's true. Very unfunny show. Sorry for people that like Frasier. Just never
I
thought
like
it's
it.
too funny. It's one of those sitcoms that tried to be too smart, I think.
I love it. I think it's awesome.
That's one of those, either you like it or you don't. I'm one of those
True.
that don't. All right, so they got Byron Murphy, Christian Haynes, guard out of Connecticut. Like that pick. Tyrese Knight, linebacker, Texas El Paso. AJ Barner, tight end out of Michigan. Like that pick. He was very, very solid. Very good inline blocker. Then they got a Pritchett, a cornerback out of Auburn. Guy's extremely fast. Seems to be around the ball a lot. Just can't. He tends to gamble too much, I should say, is the knock on him. He gambles too much.
Yeah, you just want to bet your house. You don't want to gamble a lot.
Exactly. You know, you just you got to have those bet your house picks. No other gambling but bet your house picks.
That's right. We're betting. We don't gamble.
That's right. So I would say it's an all right draft by Seattle. If I have to say something good about them, Byron Murphy, best defensive tackle that came out of the draft. So they did get somebody good there.
All right.
And again, that's somebody that the Falcons passed up on. The best 3 technique defensive tackle. 2 years in a row they pass up on.
Yeah, but maybe Michael Penix is going to play defensive tackle. You don't know.
Hey, listen, I don't know. So if he does, more power to him.
He's past the injuries now. That's all I do know. No more injuries will be happening with Michael Penix.
So that was the Seattle Seahawks. Next was the Vikings. We already touched on them. The Cincinnati Bengals, been quiet. Been very, very quiet.
Almost too cool.
Yeah, you know. Is Joe Burrow rubbing off on the whole team? Should we call it the cool?
I love Zach Moss
now. The cool Bengals. Let's see. They got Mims, offensive tackle, Georgia. Some say could end up being the best offensive tackle. Knock on him, experience. Measurables out the yin yang with him. He had the size, the speed, the agility, everything. Knock on him, he only started 8 games. Why did he only start 8 games if he's that good? Chris Jenkins, defensive tackle, Michigan. Burton, love this pick out of Alabama, wide receiver, very underrated wide receiver coming out.
Of course, you love the Alabama picks.
Yeah, well, you know, anybody that listens to me, if I don't like somebody, knows I'll say I don't like them. So I can't say I'm too much of a homer. McKinney Jackson, defensive tackle, another defensive tackle, Texas A&M. Eric, tight end, Iowa. What is he, an extra lineman? That's it. They couldn't even get a first. They had multiple games this year. They didn't have a first down. Iowa's offense.
That's true.
So,
this is not a good draft by Cincinnati.
Not a bad draft by Cincinnati. I think a solid draft. I think that Burton, wide receiver, is going to he's going to replace Tyler Boyd, who is no longer with them. Chris Jenkins, one of the best tackles coming out of the league. And like I said, if Mims ends up being what he's supposed to be, that's a solid draft.
Okay.
Let's see. Bengals we went over. Next, we got the Los Angeles Rams.
Ooh, you love the Rams.
Yeah, you know, another division rival. McVay. So I do shake my head with him. He's a good coach. Very good coach. Very good coach. Kind of roster got depleted a little bit with that, making all the trades that they did to win the Super Bowl that they did. But it seems like the last couple of years they've been doing all right. I got Jared Verse, who some say probably second or third edge rusher coming out of Florida State. Braden Fisk, defensive tackle out of Florida State. Here's a nice little running back, Corum out of Michigan.
Oh, he went to the Rams?
Yeah, he went to the Rams, so that's very
Oh.
nice. Tyler Davis, defensive tackle out of Clemson. Uh, uh, Winnington, wide receiver out of Texas. I think he was their third option, if I remember correctly.
Oh, Winning's right in his name too. All right, go Rams.
Yeah, no.
Winning.
So yeah, I mean they had a solid draft. They also drafted a Kitchens, a athlete out of Miami. So we'll see where he ends up being. That's usually a hybrid safety slash corner, but they're not
Okay.
listing him as that. So yeah, an all right draft by the Rams. I do like the Verse pick and the fifth pick, two Florida
Yeah.
State guys. That I'm telling you, that Corum, that running back out of Michigan, he's was very underrated coming out. I think he's going to end up being a good pro.
Yeah, he's a weapon for McVay.
Yes, absolutely. Not the fastest guy in the world. Has some good size to him. He's just he knows where those holes are.
Yeah, I mean, he can catch too. That's he's gonna be able to get on, and he's small, so he doesn't break tackles. He just doesn't get tackled.
Yeah,
he gets away from you, and he's elusive. You know, he's got like Tony Pollard a little bit to him.
Oh, I like that comparison.
He's got a little bit of Tony Pollard.
Not as fast as Pollard, but I do like that comparison.
Yeah, he'll just kind of juke you. He's a small guy. I just, he's gonna find his way to 50 yards a game and probably 6 touchdowns a season. Feels about right.
Absolutely. All right, our next on the board is Pittsburgh Steelers. Kind of like what they did this year. They're the big knock on them last year was they couldn't protect the quarterback. So what do they do? First and second pick. That's what they do. They get a great offensive tackle, Fat Tunu, from Washington, offensive tackle, and then Zach Frazier, center from West Virginia. I have a couple friends from West Virginia that I play Call of Duty with, and they were pounding the table for this guy.
Really?
So yes, they really like Zach Frazier out of West Virginia.
Okay.
They get Roman Wilson, wide receiver out of Michigan.
He's awesome.
Yeah, that's the guy that was tearing up Bama, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh's wide receivers, they always find them.
They do. Whether it's the 5th round, 3rd round, doesn't matter. They just seem to find them.
And you don't like Roman Wilson for obvious reasons, but it's for the same reasons that Pittsburgh does, because he's got different gear. He does not the greatest technique, but I mean, if you scheme him open, he is fast.
Absolutely. All right, then we come back with Miami Dolphins.
I didn't love their draft.
They are let me see here. They have grabbed, okay, here we go. Chop Robinson, the edge rusher from Penn State.
He's a good pick.
Nice pick. End of the first round. Next was Patrick Paul, offense tackle, Houston. It's one of those the second tier offensive tackles off the board. Solid pick. We'll see what he does. Pretty much all the offensive tackles that got picked in the second round, every one of them has a strong possibility of starting right away.
Okay.
Jalen Wright, love this pick. Running back out of Tennessee. Another fast guy.
Yeah, well, they like speed in Miami.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, they have track stars there. That's all they have. Mohamed Kamara, edge rusher from Colorado State. Malik Washington, wide receiver from Virginia. Another fast guy here, if I remember correctly. Let me just bring him up real quick so make sure I know what I'm talking about, if I remember correctly.
How fast is he?
4.47. So yeah. And 19 on the bench press. So that's really good, actually. Very, very good. He is a small guy, 5'8", 191 pounds. So he fits right in with that Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill mold that they have there.
speed for Miami.
What's that?
More speed for Miami.
Exactly. Let me see here. Jalen Wright. I'm actually curious about him too. Yeah, yeah. All right, another speed guy. 4.3840 he ran. Jalen Wright, running back out of Tennessee. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, 5'10", 210 pounds. So, yeah, I mean that's right there. That's the same as Mozart.
Yeah, that's
Right
just
there.
that, and that's what they're
Yeah.
doing. You can
Yeah,
tell
that's
what
a
they're doing.
clone right there. I like that pick. Like that pick a lot. So Miami, again, more speed on that team. The only knock on them, can they win in the later months when the cold weather hits and the speed is negated by the weather?
They don't know how to do that yet.
You know, that's the thing. Can they? Don't see it happening. Let's see here. Our next pick, our next team. Don't know why it's running so slow now, but here we go. Here we go. The Eagles. I think they had one of the best drafts. Yeah, I'm not an Eagles fan. Actually, they are my third most hated team in the NFL.
Third most hated. Did you hear that, Eagles?
It's because of the fans. It has nothing to do with the team. It has to do with
no. He doesn't even hate the team. He hates the people.
Listen, if I can't go to a game in my own state and wear my team colors and have to worry about being harassed and getting in a fight or getting beer dumped on me or getting somebody pissing on me, yeah, I don't like you.
Did all those things happen to you?
No, but all things I've seen done. I've seen somebody wearing a Dallas Cowboy blanket, a girl, and a guy, drunk guy, turning around and pissing on the blanket. All right.
Well, I mean, where else are we supposed to piss?
Listen, when you got to go, you got to go, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. And it seemed like a fitting blanket to pee on.
All right. The Eagles, some of their draft picks. Quentin Mitchell, cornerback Toledo, who some say was the best corner coming out. Then they turn around. They get Cooper DeJean, corner from Iowa, who is a hybrid corner/safety. They get Hunt, edge rusher out of Houston Christian University. I like this pick too. Will Shipley, running back out of Clemson. That's a quiet, nice pick right there. Yeah. Then they get Smith, wide receiver, Texas A&M. Trotter Jr. Trotter going back to the Eagles, linebacker Clemson. So they get a guy that used to a son of a player that used to be there.
I met Jeremiah Trotter.
Have you? Yeah. What's your take on him?
He's huge. I mean, I've never seen somebody so wide. Mm-hmm. He's funny too. Because he said, he was just sitting there signing autographs and, talking to fans and stuff like that. And he had like this Heathcliff Huxtable type sweater on. And that was the character from the Cosby Show. It was Bill Cosby. Mm-hmm. And I said to Jeremiah Trotter, I said, hey, I got a question for you. And he goes, what's that? And I said, does the Bill Cosby sweater wear you or are you wearing it? And that was his exact.
Did he laugh? He had to have
laughed
at it.
Yeah, he laughed. He smirked and he goes, I don't know, man. You tell me. He goes, you like the sweater? I go, it's great because you're a big. I just come commenting that you're a big guy. He goes, no, it's fine. He was great about himself.
That's awesome.
The guy I was with, my buddy, he's like, you're not gonna. I'm like, why not? What's he gonna do? Attack me at an autograph signing thing? He's not gonna do that. And I'm being playful. And I'm sure he gets silly, how much can you bench press and how much can you squat? He gets all day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or somebody wasn't as thoughtful as I was, and they went, "Oh, nice sweater, Trotter," or some shit like that.
Yeah. Yep.
And he actually busted out laughing.
No, that's genius. That's genius. That's perfect way to approach him with a question like that.
Yeah, and I was hoping they took his kid.
Yeah, no, and I love that. Jack's known me for a while, and he knows how I love sons of players that used to play the game. Love it. Yeah. Another pick I like that they had is Trevor Keenan, guard out of Michigan. Guy was a 4-year starter at Michigan. He's good. He's a plug and play guy. He could come in and play guard right away. He's just
Okay.
not the most athletic guy that you could put out in space. Not the best zone blocker, but he's a mauler. He can get at you.
All
So
right.
the Eagles knew what their deficiencies were. They couldn't stop anybody in the passing game. What they do, they come bam, bam, back to back picks and get two of the best corners in the draft. They come in, they get a good offensive lineman with the 5th round pick. They get a nice edge rusher to replace Riddick with Jalix Hunt out of Houston Christian University. Smaller school guy, but still doesn't mean that he can't work out. And then
Yeah.
somebody to back up Shaquan Barkley and Byron Scott is Will Shipley, a nice young guy that could come in and give you a little change of pace
Ooh.
back. So
I like it.
yeah,
Change of
for the Eagles, I really like their draft. They did very, very well. Out of every team that was in the draft, I think they nailed their draft needs the most.
And really, what we've learned, I think, the most here is that if you're going to go to an Eagles game, don't use a Dallas Cowboy blanket, or you could get peed on.
Exactly. It has happened. I've seen it. So
You're
don't
just a
think
urinal in Philly with Cowboys memorabilia.
All
there's
right,
no real.
we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, we both got silent on that because it's the Jags.
So the only thing I know about the Jags is basically what Calvin Ridley has told me, and when he did the Tennessee Titans presser, he said something to the likes of, it's just nice being here in Tennessee and part of an adult organization. And I went, wow, there's something there. And I feel like what he's saying is that, hey, there is a bit of a college jock immaturity to Doug Peterson and I believe Trevor Lawrence, probably both of them.
Mm-hmm.
It just, you could feel it, right? They kind of look like your jocks, right? And I wonder if because he had bad games or whatever, they kind of picked on him down there. I wonder.
I am in.
He didn't say that about Atlanta when they had to suspend him for the gambling.
No, yeah, absolutely.
So, and he was trying to be quiet about it. He was like,
Yeah.
I'm just happy to really be in Tennessee. And the reporter was good enough to pull it out of him. And he basically, he said, I was just happy to be part of an adult organization.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't elaborate, but that was enough.
Yeah. I think Peterson and Trevor Lawrence are perfect for each other. I think that's the best coach for him. You're right. They both have that jock mentality. Peterson even had that when he was at the Eagles too. He had that mentality. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like every guy that you ever met in the locker room that you hated. That's kind of him. And he's the biggest, so it's a problem. No, I know, but it is a little bit.
Mm-hmm. All right, some other picks. Brian Thompson Jr., wide receiver, LSU. Very solid pick for 23rd pick in the draft. Not bad.
So do you see what they're doing there, though? I do want to – this was a great move by them because they got rid of a short wide receiver because Trevor Lawrence has a higher release point. Mm-hmm. They picked up Gabe Davis, 6'3". I think Thomas III is 6'3" as well, right?
I'm pulling up his stats now.
So,
yeah, 6'3". Yep. Ran a 4.3340.
Yeah, and the Miami Dolphins do this as well. Miami Dolphins go, oh, what's Tua good at? Throw an accurate to speed. Okay, we'll just give him speed. And Jacksonville's gone, Trevor Lawrence, what is he good at? Oh, my God. You know what? He's really good at throwing to tall wide receivers. His number one guy in college was T. Higgins. Can't get T. Higgins. So we got Gabe Davis. We got Thomas III. Ingram's a real tall target over the middle. So they're getting him height. I think this is a good move.
Absolutely. Jags, underwhelming draft. They had a couple good players there. Byron Thompson Jr., I agree. He's going to end up being a very solid player. What was the other guy there? The cornerback, Jaron Jones, guy from Florida State, I think is going to be a solid player too. Javon Foster, offensive tackle, Missouri. He's going to be kicked inside to a guard, I believe. Another one of those offensive tackles that was good in college but short arms. Those guys usually get kicked inside and make very, very good guards. Then they turn around, they grab both defensive tackles from LSU. They got Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson.
Oh, okay.
So 3 LSU guys they picked this year. That's pretty
Moving on up.
Wow, yeah. All right. Well, that's it for the Jags. Let's see. Jags. We have another team that I thought had a very nice draft. Detroit Lions.
Did you?
Yeah, I really like the 2 guys that they went back-to-back corners. Terran Arnold, some say was the best corner in the league. Turn around, they get Ernest Rakestraw Jr., corner out of Missouri. There was rumors that the 49ers were gonna draft him. Rakeshaw is a first-round talent. His combine numbers hurt him a little bit. So if you put on the game film, he's a first-round pick corner. But he didn't test as well in the combine as people thought he was going to. So yeah, I love those 2 guys. That's what they needed. Detroit needed corner help, some offensive line help. They grabbed Manu, offensive tackle, University of British Columbia, running back. This guy I like out of Utah, Vaki is his name. He played both 2 positions. He played safety and running back for Utah.
Oh, wow.
So they have him listed as a running back here, but he's just as good at safety as a running back. He's played 2 years of college football. So this guy is raw, very raw, but he's going to be intriguing. Definitely intriguing. I'm really wondering, keep an eye on him because I'm wondering what position he's going to play, whether it is going to be running back. What's that?
Detroit's Oyster, raw.
Yeah, there you go. This guy here, let me pull up some of his combine numbers so people can 4.6 240, solid for a safety, solid for a running back. He's 5'11, 210 pounds. He's actually a sophomore. So a sophomore he is.
Jeez.
That's coming out. So he's young, very young, plays 2 different positions. Both running back and safety. So I'm intrigued to see which direction they go with this guy.
Young and raw. You know, the last guy that was basically given these tags and has done pretty well in the NFL, Jeremy Chin, Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Young, raw, athletic, knock your head off, and he will.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jeremy Chin will knock the head off your shoulders.
Mm-hmm. Like that. Let's see. Next, we have the Green Bay Packers. Their first pick was Jordan Morgan. Not a huge fan of him. He has very short arms for a offensive tackle, which I believe they're going to keep him at. Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker, Texas A&M, probably the best linebacker coming out in the draft they got. So good player there. Bullard, athlete from Georgia. I believe he's going to end up playing safety. Marshawn Lloyd, running back out of USC. Underrated running back coming out. Nice little Monk in the 5th round, center out of Duke. I like that pick. And with their final, with the 7th pick, they might grab Michael Pratt, quarterback out of Tulane, who is a guy that was heavily compared to Brock Purdy. He 4-year starter at Tulane, started just as many games as Purdy did at Iowa State. So that's a nice pick right there that they grabbed.
Okay. All right.
Let's see here. That was Green Bay. Our next guy, or our next team, I should say, on the list is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who had every shot to get that corner Tampa, and they didn't. Jack was banging the table for them to draft Tampa.
They took a
Tampa
center.
from Tampa.
Yeah, that'd been fun. That would have been hilarious.
It really would have been. He was there. He actually, I forget what round, 4th or 5th round he got drafted, but he was best available up on most people draft boards for like 3 rounds in a row. So I'm wondering
Yeah.
why he dropped so far. That would be very interesting to find out.
Must have been
But
like gambling in high school football or something.
I don't know. There was a reason why teams stayed away from him so long. But
Yeah.
some of Tampa's picks: Graham Barton, center out of Duke.
Monster.
Chris Braswell, edge out of Alabama. Tyreek Smith, athlete out of Florida. Jalen McMillan, wide receiver out of Washington. That was their 3rd option, I believe, out of Washington, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Bucky Irving, wide receiver, Oregon. That's not a bad pick, actually, right there. And then Klein, guard out of Texas El Paso. Like that one, too.
They had a good draft.
Yeah, solid draft. Players that, like I keep saying, that you should build your team around the trenches. They got somebody to a center for why am I drawing a blank? Their quarterback, Tampa's quarterback.
Oh, it's Baker Mayfield.
For Baker, edge rusher for that defense. I like it. I like it a lot.
Could have been your quarterback, Cleveland.
Could have been. Gave up on him too soon.
Picked a soft quarterback for a tough division.
Okay, so that was the Bucks. We already went through the Cardinals. Now for the team that's going to win the damn Super Bowl for the next 2 to 3 years. Kansas City Chiefs. Yep. We all know they got Hollywood Brown. Well, they drafted just as good. They got Xavier Worthy, fastest guy ever in the combine, wide receiver, Texas. I love this guy. Semetu Nia, Kinsley Setuamania, offensive tackle, BYU. Love this guy in the 2nd round. Jared Wiley, tight end, TCU. Got a DB, which usually this guy I think is going to end up being a nickel back, Jaden Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. They picked up another solid corner, Hayden, out of Tennessee. And finish it up, Hasten, Holy Cross, offensive lineman. So he's probably going to be a guard in there somewhere.
Okay.
But yeah, love their draft. I mean, Worthy is going to be a stud there. That tackle they're going to have. Speed. What's that?
Andy likes speed. I mean,
he knows how to use speed.
I do want to say this. I don't know what the Rashee Rice suspension is going to be, although there's one coming. Hollywood Brown hasn't really had a great quarterback in the NFL. Okay. Kyler Murray banged up, injured. They were trying out guys last year to find out, who was going to be the starter in Arizona. Prior to being in Arizona, he was in Baltimore. I know we love what Lamar Jackson's highlights are. He does not throw a terribly accurate ball. That's just, and Baltimore knows it, by the way. They got a slot guy in Zay Flowers, and they got a Rashad Bateman from Minnesota years ago. Now, if you watch Bateman's tape, the best part of it is that he catches balls off target really well. By the way, that's what Odell Beckham's catch of Eli Manning was, off target, way off target, caught that. Okay, so they know. So before that, Hollywood Brown went to Oklahoma, and his quarterback was Baker Mayfield. That's how he got into the league. So now he's getting Patrick Mahomes, and I know that we love our Justin Jeffersons and our Mar Chase's early fantasy football drafts. I'm going to tell you right now, Hollywood Brown should be on your team.
Yes, I agree.
I'm just saying, like, if you guys are looking for, if he falls to the 3rd round or 4th round because Travis Kelce went higher, I'm telling you, you should take him.
If he falls to the 2nd, you should take him.
Well, I think that when we start doing mock drafts, which will be in just a few months, he's going to start off in the 4th or 5th round, and then he's going to get bumped to the 2nd.
Yeah, the more and more the more and more the draft experts talk about him, the more and more people are going to move him up. I totally agree.
Once I keep talking. Actually, you're a draft expert. You're a top fantasy football player.
Well, we'll get more into our fantasy stuff throughout the season, and people can make their own decision on whether or not I am a good draft expert or not. But I am a two-time champion in 2 different leagues that Jack runs, along with multiple-time champion in the league I used to run.
Don't like playing against you.
So, so I'm not saying I know my stuff. I'll let you decide that during the season. But just to let you know, I know my stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now. It's I don't like playing against you because I know that's going to be a weekly.
It's because we think alike. That's the scary thing. When it comes to that, we think alike. We go by matchups. We don't go by your names.
Yeah, I think the matchup matters more than you think. And by the way, Thursday night games matter. And is this guy, like, those things do matter.
Absolutely.
But again, we break it down for you. What else do we have left in this NFL draft?
Now we're going to my second most hated team, Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, it's everybody. Oh, well, so you would be like one of the Philadelphia Eagle fans peeing on the.
Listen, that's one thing me and Philly has in common. We both.
You should have just unzipped and joined in then.
All right, a couple of their draft picks. They got Tyler Guyton, hell of a run blocker, can develop into a better pass blocker. Offensive tackle, Oklahoma. Marshawn Nealand, a edge rusher, Western Michigan, solid pick. Cooper Beebe, guard, Kansas State, like that pick. Let me see if I can get this. Lifua, linebacker, Notre Dame. Guy was all over the field. If you watch the Notre Dame Clemson game, this guy jumps off the screen to you. Kalen Carson, cornerback, Wake Forest. Florney, wide receiver, South Missouri State. A couple other guys late in the round that probably won't even make the team. So, solid draft, nothing flashy. They seem to shore up that line a little bit. They got an offensive tackle. They got a guard. Solid, very solid linebacker, guy from Notre Dame. So they had an all right draft.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see here. After that, Cowboys, we have Jack's team, the Baltimore Ravens.
I like the Ravens, but I've been following more Bucs football down here.
All right. But I know you as a Ravens fan, so that's what I am going to go with. Two of the guys, one, they had a nice draft. Very nice draft. Two of the guys, the first 2 guys that they drafted, they were linked to the 49ers at some point. So I absolutely love their pick. Nate Wiggins, who some say could have been the best corner in the draft. Love that pick. Corner out of Clemson. Roger Rosengarten, offensive tackle from Washington. He was linked. We had multiple visits with this guy. Also, the whole draft process, he worked out with Joe Staley, a Niner offensive tackle god for us forever. He was a 10, 12-year starter for us. Joe Staley was. Wasn't the biggest guy coming into the draft, but was very athletic. Same thing that did Roger Rosengarten. So I like that. They got a edge rusher, Isaac, edge rusher out of Penn State. This guy, like underrated guy from North Carolina, wide receiver, Walker. I just want to pull up his 40 times, so I have it here real quick. 4.36 40. Guy's fast. 6'1", 193 pounds. So this guy here will complement Flowers and Bateman very well, I think.
Yeah, and I think, Bateman to me, when he's healthy, and I think he's going to start being more healthy, I think he's going to be one of those guys that can emerge.
Yeah. I mean, he's more of a possession guy. So I think with Flowers and a Walker there, I think that will open up some routes for him underneath.
I think like maybe my comp is like Keenan Allen if he gets it together.
If he can get it together.
And
Absolutely.
you know what, but I think you're sitting there going, yeah, you know what, like he's like a late round flyer for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Then they turned around, and in the 4th round, that's where Tampa went. TJ Tampa, corner, Iowa State. I don't know too much about the running back that they took, Rasheen Ali, running back out of Marshall. Yeah,
They had to have loved them. They had to have loved them coming out of Marshall.
What do we got here? 5'11", 206 pounds. Do not have any other stats on him.
They had to have loved him because they let Dobbins go to the Chargers.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no 40 time for him. Nothing. Just his size. That's it.
Just
Nothing.
football, baby.
Sorry,
That's all
guys.
he
I
does.
wish I had better stats for you on this. But yeah, I mean, if they liked him, they seem to be those guys that finds that running back that can be good for that 1 or 2 years, and then you never hear of him again. It's true though, right?
Yeah, I mean, Dobbins,
like every Ravens running back that you see, you hear about him for like 1-2 years, and it's a running back by committee, and you don't hear from him ever again.
I think if Dobbins was healthy, he was going to be for real. But
I do too. But he just, the knock on him is he just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, and he's, now he's in the Chargers organization, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so that's the Ravens. We already went over my 49ers picks. I just want to add one more pick in there that we did. We drafted a really 2 nice guys.
The draft is over. You can't add picks to your team.
Well, that I didn't talk about is a 3rd round pick, a guard out of Kansas, Pooney. Very, very good guy. Can play all 3 positions also on that line. Played mostly tackle. In 3 years at Kansas that he was a tackle, he did not give up a sack. In 3 years, he did not give up a sack. So that's good. That's really good. I love this name, Mustafa. He's going to be a safety out of Wake Forest. And then,
all right. I like that.
Yes. And then we went and we drafted the fastest running back coming out of the draft. Guarino is his name. Isaac Guarino ran a 4.4 340 at 220 pounds.
It's a heavy boy.
Yeah, big boy, fast boy. Knock on him is he dances too much.
Okay.
Dances around too much. He's not that one cut and go. He dances behind the line too much. So that's the knock on him.
Yeah, which means he doesn't like getting hit.
Yeah, which we'll see how he does. The other guy that we drafted that I liked a lot is Jacob Counting out of Arizona State. Ran a 4.38 40 wide receiver. Big thing about him is he's small, 5'8", 168 pounds. So he's going to be a guy that you put him in the slot and you hope to God he doesn't get blasted by somebody.
I hope to God you don't get blasted, son. Now go out there and give us your best.
Hey, he adds another 10 pounds on him. I'm happy. So, that's the Niners pick. And then we are finishing it off with the Carolina Panthers.
I like their pick.
I do like this Leggett guy that they drafted. The NFL comp on him is a faster Deebo Samuels.
Yep, and they've wanted Deebo Samuel for years, and they went, okay, we can't have them. We found one.
Mm-hmm. Love their 2nd round pick, Jonathan Brooks, running back out of Texas. He took over games if you watch any of the Texas tape. Then they come back. They get Trevion Wallace, linebacker out of Kentucky. Love this pick, Sanders, tight end out of Texas. Guy is a really, really good pass catcher. He needs to get better at his blocking, but he's very, very good at catching the ball.
All right, so you say Carolina had a good draft.
Yeah, they had a solid draft. Think they could have really used some line help. protect Bryce Young a little bit.
They
But
need
yeah,
stilt to make him taller.
solid. What was that?
They need stilts so he could be taller.
Oh yeah. One other team here that I want to bring up that we didn't talk about because they didn't have a first round pick because they traded it away was the Buffalo Bills. They
But
got
took
slowest receiver in the draft, Keenan Coleman.
Yeah, but that guy wins
He
all.
catches. I agree. That's why I'm not knocking him too much on it. Cole Bishop, he is an athlete out of Utah. Carter, defensive tackle out of Duke. Davis, running back out of Kentucky. Ranger, the center out of Georgia. Like that pick. So yeah, nothing eye-catching. Do you think they did enough to replace Diggs there with Coleman, or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I actually really like Coleman. I don't know.
Okay.
You know, I think the Florida State quarterback was fine, but I really think Coleman did all the work. And you know what? He doesn't look fast, but he is.
Yeah, he ran a 4.6 140. He is 6'3", 213 pounds.
He's not super fast, but he wins jump balls, all of them.
Okay, yeah, so those 50-50 balls then.
Yeah, and I think he'll be. That's going to translate. What he does translates.
Okay, all right. Okay.
He's just a football player. He's not fast. He's not fast. When he's going to be playing in snow? What does it matter?
Mm-hmm. True.
I mean, it's Buffalo.
Yeah,
so
true.
To me,
no, I like that. I like that. You're right. You're definitely right with that. He's playing in Buffalo, so for the majority of the year, or even when the games count, he's going to be playing in bad weather. So yeah, no, I love that. Then
I don't really think Deebo Samuel's fast either. He just knocks guys over.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, he has a second and third gear. Deebo does. You're right. He's not a 4.3 guy.
Yeah.
But he is a high 4.4 guy, 4.48, 4.50 guy. But you're right.
He's
he
a
runs
damn
through
problem.
Yeah,
he's a problem.
He's utility guy.
I think Coleman, what he does is he replaces Gabe Davis. I think he's got better hands. Same player.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What they really needed somebody though is to replace Diggs though.
I think what Buffalo's been consciously doing is changing their offense to make it more like Kansas City's. So they're going to have a bunch of Corvettes, a bunch of quick guys, and it's going to be run through Dalton Kincaid and Cook.
Mm-hmm.
That's what their plan is to do. Dalton Kincaid, by the way, another monster pick.
Mm-hmm. And everybody keeps forgetting is that I think his name was Shair.
Yeah, he was good.
The wide receiver. He was fast. He came on towards second half of the season. So I don't think I think he replaces Gabe Davis. So I don't think they're going to miss him too much. But I think where they're going to miss somebody is Diggs, because Diggs took a lot of those double teams.
They might. We're going to find out.
Yeah.
We're going to find out.
Absolutely. And let's face it, whoever they have running the routes out there, Brendan Allen will find you no matter what. Or Josh Allen will find you no matter what. He'll find you. He's blossoming into a great quarterback. 15
interceptions last year.
Yeah. Well, and that's not even counting his fumbles, which he had a lot last year. I mean, there was 3 games in a row where he was a turnover machine. They lost because of him.
But I mean, but the other thing that's brought up that isn't highlighted is the fact that when he throws an interception, it's on 3rd and 12, and it's a 50-yard interception. It's a punt.
Mm-hmm.
So he's throwing an interception. Yeah, but you were punting anyway.
Yeah.
Right there. So what does it matter? I might as well take a shot in a triple coverage because there's no difference.
Mm-hmm.
I just...
Will he take those shots now that Davis and Diggs isn't there?
Yeah, he'll still take them because that's him.
Yeah, that's him. You're right. He has that Brett Favre gunslinger mentality. Doesn't matter.
He's a cowboy from Wyoming.
Hey. Well, I hope everybody really liked our draft recap. We did our best on there. I hope we went over everybody's teams. They learned a little bit about what your team picked and what you can expect this year. Now we are going to go to the segment where Jack is going to give you a pick. If you have a mortgage on your house and you want to pay it off, this is the pick that you should do. Bet your house pick.
Bet your house, baby. All right, so welcome in, guys. Thanks for listening to our draft recap, our A's, our B's, and all the grades that we kind of gave to the teams. Every once in a while, I get a gut feeling. I watch a lot of sports, so I'll know when to place it or when not to place it, and there's perfect instances. So last week was the Sixers were down 2-0, and Joel Embiid went on radio show on his off day and said there's no effing way we're losing this series. That might not be true, but they weren't going to lose the next one, and he goes off for 50. The Sixers were also in a perfect spot because they were minus 190. So for you guys that don't gamble a lot, minus 190, for every $190 you bet, you make 100. But it was easy bet your house money because they were in a perfect spot with their leader of their team, absolutely furious. So we bet our house last week. There's a team that's in a certain kind of the same situation as the Sixers, okay? And to me, your bet your house night needs to be the Phoenix Suns. Listen, I understand that the Timberwolves are a great team, but you're not going to
crush them last game.
I know, but you're not going to close out a team with as much talent as Phoenix has on it. The Timberwolves started playing and winning the game when Phoenix went to just dribbling the ball, shooting basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Dribble, shoot, no movement, nothing. That's the problem. I mean, I saw it. I went, oh, you guys are up by 5. But like, if I were to bet right now, I bet on the Wolves because the Wolves are moving. They're out running. They're out moving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Wolves know what they are. Mike Conley sets up the offense, and then they go from there. That's what the Wolves are. Phoenix Suns have more talent in those extra players, in the Bradley Beers, in the Devin. What they need to do is run the offense through Grayson Allen. Let him make the decisions and get Booker in spots, get Durant involved early, and then we can start getting Beal involved and we start cutting and all that other stuff. I think Phoenix gets a win tonight. They're plus 100 at home. So you're getting fair money on a team that doesn't want to get swept. They're not. They might lose this. They'll probably lose the series, but they are not going to get swept. There's no sweeps happening. Phoenix is too talented to let the Wolves absolutely blow them out of the water 4-0. That's my pick for tonight. Bet your house.
Now, Phoenix you said they're plus 100?
Yes.
The Suns are? So if you bet $100, what do you get then? So
for the
people out there that don't know.
You get $100.
Even money right there.
It's even
money. Bet 100, you get 100.
They put the plus there to kind of trick people, but it's 100 for 100. It's even money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a great pick. They're in a great spot. They're at home, down 3-0, reading the papers the whole damn time. You know, oh, this team, why did they should be beating all that garbage. You're down 3-0, man. You got a lot of money out there in Phoenix. I think they win this one.
Jack's saying back against the wall, down 0-3. That is the pick.
Too much talent.
Bet your house, bet your car, put it, go pawn your jewelry, whatever you want to do. Pawn whatever you want to pawn. Go get that money right now before whatever time tip-off is. And
9:30. You got all day.
You got all day. All day to get to that pawn shop.
Yeah, you got all day. I mean, I'd start gathering things now. That's what I would do. Find your watch.
It all. Make your money. Go back. Say, here, I want my stuff back, and plus you made money.
Your grandmother's brooch that you don't like anyway, but she gave it to you. It's time to move on from that.
There you go.
Take it down to the pawn shop. You're going to bet your house, everything you got. You'll either have another home or you'll be like the people in California. No, I'm kidding.
Are you be living in a van down by the river?
Ooh, that's fun too. Yeah, bet your house though. This is easy money, and I'm betting it, by the way. So every time I tell you to bet your house, I'm betting it.
I will be betting that also tonight, just to let you know.
You like that pick?
I like it, but I don't like it because of the last bet I made was against for the Suns when they were down 0-2.
But
It
now
was.
it makes you, it almost
Oh yeah,
reassures.
no, I get it. I do. The last bet your house pick Jack had was the 76ers, like he said. I won my money on that. I should have cut my losses with that, but then I went with a little comment on his page by somebody else, and I lost my money on the Suns. So I will try to make that money back tonight on the Suns.
Let's do it.
I'm doing it. I don't have a house to bet on it, but maybe I'll go and pawn my title on my car.
Bet your house, bet your farm. Look, I got a farm in the background,
Bet
right?
the
Look at
farm,
that.
bet the
Look at
farm,
those.
bet the farm.
It's a good emblem.
It is a good emblem.
Bet your house, baby. That's our pick for tonight.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, Jack, anything that you?
No, that's it. That's
it?
I want just guys. I tell you what. And by the way, I'm not a big whatever. Give me money for my picks, guy. But it'd be nice to get a tip or two when you're winning lots of money. It
That
helps
would be
grow the
nice.
podcast. It helps grow our audience. It helps us get new equipment, better lighting, all that stuff. All we're doing is
Absolutely.
providing fun for you guys.
Yes, and I know you guys have noticed every week our stream is getting better and better and better. I put more money. I got a new mic. Went to XLR. We got some nice graphics. We're getting new logos. We're getting new intros. I have a buddy that plays music. We're going to get some music made for us. So we're looking at some big things.
Look at
that. Surprise.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah. All right. That's all I got. Once again, guys, we greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. We want to hear your comments during the stream. Throw them up. Throw your questions up. We want to answer them. We want as much interaction as possible. And we are going to give you the most up-to-date and the most honest news that is out there. We are not going to sugarcoat anything for you. Even if it is our teams, we will dog our teams if we have to.
Latest and greatest sports information is right here.
That's right. Again, we greatly appreciate you guys showing up. Jack, you want to take us out?
All right, guys. We'll see you on another episode with OldGamerGK or GK, OldGamerGK, and myself from FantasyFarmSports.com. Next Sunday is when we're gonna do it. Next Sunday.
That's right, 1:30. Yeah.
No, that was good.